We're live.
My biggest problem, though, Sliggy, is that you never tell us when you're going to arrive late. That's the issue, man. We're 1 minute late. We're 1 minute late, and all I need is for a little bit of communication, bro. Just a little bit, please. Like, it's almost the beginning of a new season. We've just ended 2025. I can't work with this guy. I can't work with this guy.
No one's buying him, mate. No one. There's literally zero in chat that believe in you right now. I respect the attempt, though.
How is everybody after a delightful champion? So are we all feeling refreshed, burnt out, rejuvenated? What's the vibe?
I'm not really burnt out, to be honest. I was burnt out in the middle of the year, and then we had the nice little mini off season when the blood money tournament was going on. And then I was feeling pretty refreshed, to be honest, for Champs. I was raring to go. Champs is wrapped. I'm like, I've been playing Valorant in my free time, which is,
Wow.
Yeah. Been feeling I've been playing a bit of Veto, seeing what he's like.
Yeah, we'll talk about Veto later. How are the co-streamers feeling? The people that actually had to do the work.
I feel fine, man, because Champs feels like a day off anyway, because it's only like two games a day for like a month.
Yeah.
So that felt like it was.
It's the playoffs. It's the playoffs. The
Yeah.
killer. It's when you've got Pacific, EMEA, and Americas all in one day, and those are the killer days. Not the Masters and Champs are great because it's just
Time
fun.
off.
It's just
That's
good
crazy conditioning onto your own minds. Just you slamming the Valorant
Well,
four
it's
matches
Ascension
in
now.
one day.
It's Ascension now, Bran.
Yeah,
Pacific's
lock in.
doing 3 games a day for their Ascension.
What
So
the hell is going on?
Is that what it
Game
is?
Changers
3
Championship as
they're
well
doing 3 a day.
Yeah.
in November.
Yeah.
See, now, Sliggy, you didn't leave your home for the last couple of months. Am I right in saying that?
I mean, you could apply that for the whole year, but yeah.
Right, okay. Whereas TMV, a rare occurrence where people actually spotted him in the wild. They thought it was Ed Sheeran for a moment, but no, actually, TMV out there in the wild. So how was your experience going to an event?
It was interesting. I mean, I saw
You can say shit.
I saw how low down you were. I had to like search for a while. I was looking for someone up here, and it's like, oh no, he's down here. So that was interesting. It was fun. I mean, the main thing for me was getting back. That was the traumatic event for me, trying to get back from the middle of nowhere. Well, me and Josh went back to his room, as you do.
Hey-o.
And
Nobody else invited, a bottle of wine.
No.
Yeah, there was a bottle of wine there. True, yeah, there was. But eventually it got quite late, and Josh was like, "Oh no, it's fine. There's always trains back. We got a train at 1 a.m. There's always a train back because we're in the middle of fucking nowhere, of course." And we take a look to see if there's any trains back. No, there are no fucking trains back. So then I have to go and get an Uber, and Josh, of course, puts the Uber location outside where his room is rather than at the front of the fucking hotel. So this Uber comes.
I mean, does it matter usually?
Of course it fucking matters, because you were there, you know that it matters. Because this guy pulls up to the front, this guy pulls up to where the dot is on the app, and it's miles away. We go walk to him, and then he cancels it by the time we've walked to him because no one's fucking there. So yeah, it mattered, because then
it's unusual for it to have mattered. I'm saying,
yes, it is, but it did matter in the end, and it was raining, and it was dark, and then... But then that wasn't the worst
You can
part.
tell he's a YouTuber, can't you, man? He's complaining at the idea of trying to make it home late at night in a car.
But then, you get in the Uber, and on the way back, the motorway is shut. You go onto the A road next to the motorway that goes there. That's got major roadworks. The sat-nav of this guy that I'm in the Uber with is telling him to fucking go through all these tiny little roads with cars parked on either side in the middle of Paris. Everyone's fucking beeping at us. We're going down no entry roads multiple times. It's a fucking... I'm thinking I'm gonna die because, of course, it's a taxi driver. They're crazy. They do whatever the fuck.
We actually support taxi drivers here.
In terms of how they drive. Bren, weren't you in an accident once with a taxi driver?
That's true. I mean, it was an Uber driver. No,
Well,
Well, yeah,
this was an Uber.
Yeah.
That's
a
there
big
you go.
difference. Yeah, big difference. But
So,
yeah,
but at least the games were good when you were there.
No, I went on the worst day. In fact, I even joked. So I went on the day that MIBR beat RRQ and G2 beat T1. Both stomps. The loser team just didn't even bother to show
one
up.
of the fastest days we had.
It was probably the fastest day. I even joked during the grand final, like, oh, at least I didn't go to the worst day when it was 11-1 to NRG map 3. I was like, oh, at least there was a worse day than the one I went to. And then, of course,
It was
Well,
yeah, we'll get into what happened. But so yeah, just overall, I mean, it's still a good trip though.
So basically, what you're saying is don't leave your house. Like,
Yeah, it's-
Sliggy's got you right all
It's still
along.
a good trip.
Sounds like I have it down. Yeah.
Oh, we had fun. We were up to all sorts of shenanigans, including we did an episode last week in front of the Eiffel Tower with a bunch of random people. We weren't even planning to do that. Riot just got in touch with us and were
I'm
like, "Hey, we've
scared
got
to
to."
rewatch that episode. To be honest,
Well, yeah,
because
we were all
I
drinking
turned up
quite
to
a bit.
that place expecting there to be food, so I didn't have dinner,
Oh,
and instead I
boy.
get handed a glass of wine, and I
And
can't
and
really
a job. You got
and
handed
a
a glass
job,
of wine
yeah,
and a
a
job.
glass of wine and a podcast to record, where the opening segment is with my boss's boss's boss, and I don't want to watch it back because I'm scared of what I said. I
No,
had
you're
people
fine.
coming up to me. I had people coming up to me though afterwards, being like, "Yo, thank you so much for like taking some of the hard hitting questions from Leo." And I was like, "I did what?" I was like, did I go on some sort of tirade? Apparently, I went on a rant about
Yep.
something. I don't know what it was.
It's so
but-
funny though that the Riot people think that was you playing like good PR or being like a good guy
Yeah.
for the company when actually it's,
Nah,
just,
it's just me.
you ranting about what you believe in, which is, I think, quote, the shit teams should just lose. We don't want to watch them anyway. Something
True.
like that.
And I'm honestly incredibly based by drunk me. And I think we should all be living by that when it comes to circuit decisions. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, anyway, if you didn't watch that, there's plenty of shenanigans going on. We had Tarek, Tens, Valen, Jorg, Leo, probably some other people as well that I've forgotten, to be honest, and then a rotating barrage of other guests too. But we got to get
Real
into
quick,
our show.
you should definitely watch the episode because it's very likely it's going to get taken down because you're not allowed to show the Eiffel Tower at night on YouTube. It's a copyright strike. I'm
What?
surprised it hasn't been taken down yet, but we're just
You're
leaving
not
it
allowed
up.
to.
It's a
You're not-
copyright infringement. You can't do it.
The things that come after Plat chat, big cheese.
People were telling me,
and
people were like
the Eiffel
messaging
Tower.
me, Kurt. It's like you got to do something, Kurt. I'm like, I can't. I'm
What
just gonna
can
hope
you do
for the
about
best.
that? Like, take down the Eiffel Tower?
I
They
don't
would just
think
delete the
that's-
video.
Photoshop
We're
in
not.
the
Our
Blackpool
channel's gonna be
Tower.
fine.
It's
I'll
the-
just delete the video. But
Yeah.
watch it while it's alive.
The Eiffel Tower at night is copyrighted.
Yeah.
Not during the day, but once the lights go on it.
Yes.
How does that make any sense?
That's mad. That is mad. I mean, that's hilarious though as well. But yeah, it's a bit mad. Well, go and watch it quickly then. Okay, let's get on with this episode, which hopefully won't get taken down. Our members, thank God for them, because they help the show to run, also get to submit a question every week. And the question this week is actually like an on-topic, genuine question that we might want to do as a segment.
Damn.
So huge for them. This one comes from Chaza, who says, now that Champs has concluded, who is the actual team of the year? So you've got nobody really dominating the year in terms of trophies won. And so they've suggested three options. Feel free to go for another one, which were G2, PaperX, and FNATIC. Now, funnily enough, two of the teams that won titles, not even on here from their POV.
Yeah, I was
So,
gonna
like,
say.
Yeah.
T1 and NRG.
I-
But also, if we could start there just for a moment, T1 and NRG, is there any argument for those teams even being in the consideration? Because they really did just peak for one tournament.
There's an argument for NRG.
Not
yeah,
T1.
because
Not
T1 kind of peaked and fell off, whereas NRG made changes, and they had their last hurrah in stage 2. So it's
Okay.
almost I see them differently because T1 had an entire year with a pretty static roster outside of like bullying one player and changing them out every now and then. But then NRG kind of made pretty drastic changes.
In the sense that
stage two.
T1 had a chance to continue to be good
Yeah.
after Bangkok. Whereas
Yeah,
NRG
whereas we
Yeah.
don't know how good NRG would have been if they started off on this foot, like at the very beginning of the year. But NRG.
Would any of you actually give it to NRG though, as the team of the year? I'm not saying best team at the end of the year, because obviously, I mean, that's what Champions is for.
I mean, yeah, that's the kind of thing. Yeah, I'd be tempted, but I think if we are just thinking throughout the whole year, you can't. But if we're doing the whole thing where it's like consistency, then it's probably the 3 that they mentioned. But again, I kind of view NRG a little different because you should view it as they like change up their team. So yeah, I can understand people putting NRG, but I would probably say consistency, it's FNATIC or PaperX.
Probably PaperX
Roughly.
because they lifted the trophy.
Yeah, I think the
They always
trophy's
have
the
a
big
trophy.
one. FNATIC did the Heretics, basically.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But I think I would have Fnatic as the team of the year just because they came second in 2 of the 3
But
big tournaments. I mean, you have to do better than that to be better than them, and I don't really think anybody did. Making 2 out of 3 grand finals is pretty nuts.
Yeah,
Yep.
it kind of just the only way you could make a case for G2 is if you're heavily America's build or if you care a lot about regional trophies, which I don't think. Like, I'm not that bothered, to be honest, about regional trophies, so I don't think...
EDG would be the best team of the year for like
Every year.
and 21
Yeah,
and
exactly.
22.
that's
So
true.
if it's between Fnatic and PaperX, then I think it's like I think you could say either one is perfectly reasonable, but I think
Yeah.
it just comes down to how much you care about actually winning a trophy versus, kind of consistently being pretty good. I would probably pick PaperX because I think winning trophies is kind of the whole point, but
I think it highlights, though, a bit of an issue we've got in Valorant right now, which I've been thinking about, which is just the consistency in teams and how hard it is to be a consistent top team. Because people have been saying, like, man, it just feels like every chance, like a team comes out of nowhere, even just these events, teams are coming out of nowhere. But it's because we actively, with the circuit and the patch changes and the constant need to align the two, like in terms of dates and having the map pool changes and trying to keep ranked fresh with map pool changes, and then there's patch changes too, and it's very difficult to be consistent in this game compared to a game like Counter-Strike where stuff just moves at a glacial pace with all the changes. So I don't know if you guys feel the same, but it felt like 2024, teams had no time, no breaks at all for the entire year. So no time to really prepare to build out solid map pools. And then this year, we get hit with a massive change up before Toronto with the Teo nerf, and we get hit with a massive map pool change before Champs with 12 days for the teams. 12 days, that's it, essentially, from end of stage 2 to Champs to adjust to 2 new maps coming into their pool. So like we've got this issue right now in Valorant where we're trying to align the circuit to how people play the game in ranked, but it's just I think it's leading to problems where it feels like there's no consistency. We don't have a consistent team that wins titles.
But is it?
Can I make the counterpoint that
Sure.
isn't a problem? Because
That's what I was gonna say, yeah.
one, I would say that makes it more exciting. Like I'm down for I don't know who's going to win this event. I think that is better because it's not like we still don't have expectations. We still have expectations that G2, or whoever, Heretics, Fnatic, PaperX, these teams, you still have the expectation they're going to do well. So if they don't, like when G2 got 7th, 8th, it's still a surprise. You're still like, ooh, that's interesting. I didn't expect that. It's not like you go into every tournament being like, well, who cares? What's the point in even predicting?
For sure,
who
yeah.
cares? But also it means that in the future, if anyone does ever, win all 3 tournaments in a year, everyone will understand how special that is. Everyone will understand that is not easy, right? The longer this goes on, like Fnatic winning those 2 trophies in 2023 back to back looks better because no one else has done it yet.
Yeah.
And if it
I
carries
would
on and
argue
keeps
that-
going, that's better.
I mean,
And it makes it more
2023, I think,
special.
was one of the best
mean-
years we had in terms of making sure that there was adequate spacing, though. No?
And I mean, if you want to, the thing is, I don't think we can even compare these years anymore. 2023 had 1 map change, Icebox to Bind.
Yeah.
Throughout the year, no meta
Yeah.
change because all the agents weren't good. This one, 2 meta changes, 6 map changes.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually
It's-
not comparable. You can't
But
compare
also-
the years anymore.
I think the problem is also less to do with the game changing and more to do with the sample size just being insanely small. You only have 3 tournaments in an entire year to define who the best teams are. If you don't take into account like average placement and give points for that, like we're talking about with Fnatic, for example, if you're only looking at trophy lifts, then I mean, of course it's going to be like different teams lifting it all the time because you only have 3 in a year. I was just going back over the Counter-Strike ones to see whether it was different. But if you only look at CS majors, so you only get something like, well, I mean, some years has only been, like where they only had the 1 Paris major. But, they have, if you listed it just by major so that there's a lot less tournaments going on, then it seems like you have a pretty similar effect. Not that I'm following CS really closely. I'm just looking at it on Wikipedia, but it's not like the same names are popping up over and over and over again winning majors. It's just that they have a lot more events. So you see the top teams lifting trophies a lot more.
They just have more events. And I would say back then as well, before they did start changing up the game, you did have like an Astralis meta, then a Liquid meta, and then now it's more Vitality. Like they definitely have more teams that win more. I agree with Brent. I think it's a lot harder to win stuff these days. I think there's a lot of changes. I think that the best examples of that for being this year is when I look at the 2 tournaments we just had, the double map advantage going into the final looked huge. Name me one team at this event that had a good 7-map pool. You can't name one.
No, there's no one.
Whereas like you go back to 2023 champs, I could name 5.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just a problem right now with the way that they're thinking about the game. They want to align pro play so that when people are watching VCT, they are playing on the same maps that the pros are. But all it's led to is just this weird scenario where they want to keep the game fresh for ranked, so then it has this knock-on effect detracting from the circuit and like competitive integrity. So I just think that ranked is nowhere near close to the way that the game is played anyway at VCT level. If you want that connection, match it to the Premier and then actually have a map pool that you play consistently throughout a year in Premier and through Pro Play, and it's not changing much at all. And that way would have more consistency. But it really does feel like the peak was 2023 for having... giving each team adequate time to prep and having that level of consistency.
By the way, this year was way better than last year.
In terms of spacing, yes, but not in terms of the changes.
No, not in terms of the changes.
But that's my point as well, is that 2024, we went one step forwards, but then we went backwards because of how frequently we were making changes this year as well. And it's like, yeah, it's better for ranks so people don't get bored playing the game, but it's also... it's just worse from a viewership perspective. And I'm not saying...
I didn't find it to be
I'm
bad
not
from
saying
a
it's
viewership
bad
perspective.
to have upsets. I'm just saying it's bad to have teams feel like they've come out of nowhere. Where you didn't see the signs ahead of time. Like, at least with NRG, they did, their defense side was looking really good, and they made a lot of adequate improvements. Their attack side calling was massively improved when they actually got to the event at Champs 2. But I don't know.
I think the only teams that felt like that to me were DRX and MIBR, because MIBR, we didn't see them in playoffs, so it really felt like they kind of came out of nowhere. But even though they were the same team, and you'd seen them do it earlier on in the year.
DRX literally changed their IGL.
And, DRX changed.
Completely different meta.
But then DRX played enough that by the end, like, it only took 3 or 4 games of DRX to know what their identity was. You didn't feel like the end of it. You were like, I still don't know who this team are. Like, they're the fucking Waylay Yoru team, man. They're running at you with this crazy ass comp. It kind of helps that they had such a definitive style, but I still enjoyed it. I still thought it was sick.
No, I actually thought it was the best. I liked it being so open, not a defined meta. I don't think that people on maps were like as refined as we've seen before. People kind of had like shaky maps, and it wasn't like the highest level of just like, this is how good teams get out of set meta. I kind of liked it, man. It was just it felt like everyone could win, especially when you got to playoffs. It was like, oh man. Like anyone can win this. This is pretty awesome. So I don't mind it being like this. I just think it's a lot harder for the teams. I personally had the most fun watching this event, probably out of all the events.
Yeah.
All right, to do some signposting for the viewers, we're going to talk a little bit about the event overall, mostly focused on playoffs, because we did an episode about the group stage. We're going to talk about Veto. We're going to talk about some of the patch changes, and then General Mates. We are not going to talk about every roster move of all time, because that would take forever, but we're going to do that in the following week and week after. So if you're tuned in to figure out about some player that's become a free agent, we'll get to that next week. We'll have more info about them then. The big news, though, in terms of Valorant champions from outside of the game, man, it did cause a seismic shift in what people were talking about. ohnePixel coming in and co-streaming Valorant champs. Dude, I wanted to tune in and watch some of his stuff just because I've seen his shorts on YouTube when he's doing like TS streams and that kind of thing, and he's got a very funny bit to the way that he interacts. But man, he was like a little ray of sunshine.
Yeah.
It was just, I mean, and he dominated in terms of viewership as well. He went nuts.
But he's just very entertaining, man. Like if I watch CS, I will watch him. He's just very, dude. He's very witty. He's very entertaining, and he's just good at what he does. And I think it was very refreshing. I didn't watch. Obviously, I was streaming at the same time, so I could only kind of watch clips. But I think it was very refreshing, just his attitude to the whole thing as well. Yeah, I think we got a lot of CS CS and Valorant purists when actually like both the games are sick to watch, and it was kind of nice just him being very open-minded, and even defending like a lot of the players and stuff like that. So dude, he's great, and I think the energy that you can bring in after only watching like certain events is pretty cool as well. And just for like the general viewer, he doesn't know as much, so it's kind of like he's learning as the game goes on. It's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, it was kind of like it kind of reminded me, looking at some of the clips, of like when a game is new. You know, he's coming, obviously the game isn't new, but he had the kind of like the energy, the excitement, as if, you know, this was kind of like a new game, and everyone was like, what's going on, you know, this, and like just attacking it with relentless energy. That be that a tip for anyone if you're going into unknown territory, because this could have gone bad for him, right? Like it could have easily been a stream where, you know, he just turns up, says, this game's shit compared to CS, you know, turns it off and just goes from there. But if it went in doubt, just attack things with relentless positive energy, and it'll probably go pretty well.
Insane that it's you giving that take. Unbelievable that your mouth has just put together the sentence, attack things with relentless positivity and things will go well. Bro's never seen a mirror. Never.
Yeah, TMV, the most pessimistic British man I've ever come across. It's just I've learned to.
He's got no response.
Tip number 2: be yourself. Don't fake it. Be yourself.
It was really a breath of fresh air, though. I think we're at that point in the life cycle of Valorant where it's been like 5 years. And I've seen this happen in so many different games, but it's just like the people who are playing Valorant, they play it so much that they just do it because they don't know what else to do. And they're just hating on it. I've seen all this talk. All the YouTubers are jumping on a bandwagon, like red circle, red arrow, Valorant is stale, like, you know, thumbnail moment. And it's getting to that point in the life cycle where people are just like, you know, it's okay to like other things. But for a lot of the population, I don't know. I'm seeing in parallels. I've seen it so many times now. I saw it in Overwatch. I'm seeing it now. Just people hating and attacking the state of the game, which bleeds into their feelings on it, I suppose, in general. When they're watching
I just think
esports.
I just think he's got such a funny bit that he's like the CS guy with the CS audience, and then he's like antagonizing his chat, like, that's a really beautiful skin, guys. Like, wow, this gunplay looks really good. Knowing that he's just rage baiting his entire chat, but in a positive way. It's so good. It's so good. I don't know. It's such a good bit to have as a streamer. He's designed it really intelligently. And yeah, it works superbly too. This clip, by the way, how can you possibly deny after this?
TMV oil up. TMV, do it, bro. You gotta oil up, bro.
Slipping with this crowd behind FNATIC. It's just working.
Why did he say that?
Because he saw the sign.
Yeah, there's a guy behind who has TMV oil up on his phone.
And Achilles said
it.
The sign was there, and Achilles said it, or GB said it, or something like that. And it's just repeating.
So when's it happening?
Well, here's the thing. I had a bet with someone in my chat. 50 gifted if FNATIC don't win, and oil up if they do win. And that was at the start of the tournament. They said that, right? And I was like, well, yeah, I'll take the field against FNATIC, right, for the 50 gifted. And, well, then it's 11-1 to NRG in the final. And I'm like, and the person paid out the bet. They were like, oh, it's over.
Here's
the 50 gifted. They paid it out. Then FNATIC win the map, then they win Ascent, and I am panicking. I am going crazy. I'm like, oh no. Thankfully, Ethan saved me. I will always be the biggest Ethan fan, by the way. No one can ever say a bad word about him ever again, because he stopped me from oiling up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's insane. That's fantastic. I feel like there's good reasons to be positive about Valorant. It felt like a sick meta, sick tournament, insane games.
Well, let me ask you quickly. Is this the best Valorant tournament?
I like 2023 champs more, personally.
Tell me why. Remind me, because the problem is all of this stuff blends into the fuzzy memory.
You had EG that made the finals at Tokyo. You had FNATIC, who also won that event, and then you went into it, and FNATIC was still a contender into the top 4. You had PaperX potentially lifting a trophy when at the time we thought it was Jing's last dance. EG came out cooking with all sorts. Their fracture looked insanely good. Like from an armchair analyst perspective, you had so much good stuff to talk about EG and the way that they played. So I look back at that with pretty fond memories, and the fact that they're like an Americas-based org and they won it in LA too, and the crowd was the best that we've had in Valorant. I think outside of maybe the Japan events that we've seen, because they were cheering for both sides. There wasn't really it just bias for EG like there was at this event. When I was in the crowd, it was like a library whenever NRG were winning. Like the grand finals, genuinely, you could just hear a pin drop until FNATIC did something. And it was very one-sided. And it wasn't to the same extent where they left early when the trophy ceremony or anything, but it was an even crowd. It was the best quality of play.
It was also the Cove incident. Which I'm just thinking about, other notable things, you know? It's like Billy.
Bro's the biggest SOM hater. Just lifted a trophy, references the Cove incident.
Well, I'm just thinking about like Billy double eliminating NRG and like that kind of stuff, you know? It's like, oh, yeah, sorry, that wasn't even the COVID incident, was it? That
was Tokyo.
Right, okay. But it was the Billy.
Yeah. It was Billy where they lost.
This is the problem. All of it blends together in my head.
Yeah, no, it is like that, dude. I think this was the best event, because especially if you just go by game. I'm a guy that likes strats, and we saw a good amount of strats, even though it wasn't like the closest you can get to perfect Valorant, which I would say like more teams were in 2025 again, because it was 2023, because it was like a refined meta. I liked that we had 3 mirror matchups out of 41 maps. That's sick. Like every single thing was just an own iteration of just how they want to play the meta. Insane amount of close games, like the most we've ever had in a tournament, and I think probably just the most competitive. So for me, I think it was the best event. I was worried for the final, but then just purely because of third map, it was a good final. No matter what happened after that, just purely because of the third map, it carried it. So for me, it was the best. Even though, again, I like the deep strat stuff, but sometimes I like the scrappy mess as well. And there's a lot of scrappy mess just because teams are trying to get good at maps that they're not good at, or they're changing comps midway through at maps. I think it's fun, man. It must be awful for the teams and the players to like, it's stressful, man. But to watch, it's fun, bro. Scrappy is fun in this game to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's my favorite event. I just couldn't really remember the others, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It's just recency bias. You remember stuff that's more recent than compared to stuff in the past. But I mean, it was great. I remember watching the games and being like, "Holy shit, this is popping!" Like the NRG games early on, their game against EDG still, the opening
it was very good
game of groups, and then the follow up against DRX. Like, groups, so good.
Groups was sick. Like these are the best groups we've ever had. Groups is incredible. If anything,
apart from the one day I went.
Apart from that one day, So apart from the one day you went, that was awful. And then honestly, playoffs when we got to like the final 4, I think everything up until the final wasn't great.
Some of those opening games were nuts. Like that Paper XG2 game was bonkers. I mean, I know that maybe you were molding at the level of play, but some of the mad shit that was going on in that game was ludicrous to open up in the upper quarters. We're going to talk about some of these matches though, but TMV, you asked the question. What's your answer?
I think overall, from like a neutral perspective, yes, I still hold Copenhagen in my heart quite a lot, which was really carried by Leviathan, who played some absolutely bonkers games in that tournament. But I think this was definitely one. It's definitely one of the best, and I think from a purely like level-headed perspective, I think it was very good. Apart from the one day I went, which also sours it in my mind.
That's so funny.
When we were in Paris for the group stage, we were out in a hotel that was like miles out of town, and every night we were just eating like. The routine would be no restaurants in the area, really. We've gone to Paris, a city known for food, and we've got nothing there. So instead, we're just ordering baguettes, ordering, wine and cheese and stuff, and just living the good life. I've come home, and man, I've got no food anywhere, and it's an enormous problem. I mean, the restaurants are not as good as they are in the center of Paris. The food quality
hot take,
the grocery
the food is
store
not
is
good
not
in
as good.
Paris.
Yes, you weren't eating at the right places. You weren't eating at the right places.
I was only there for a couple of days. I had some delicious food.
You've gone to the wrong places, man. I've been to Paris. I don't think it's the best place ever, but the food is legit, man.
I think if you go to the right place at our very highest end, it's probably pretty good. but the mid tier was less than mid. It was not.
Do they have Jersey mics?
They did not have Jersey mics, unfortunately. If Mike was there, I would have had a
You
mic.
weren't even in Paris, though. You were living in.
I know. Well, I'm talking
were
about
in Paris
when we were
outside.
in Paris. Like it was.
Oh,
So
okay.
all of the best food I had was like the Vietnamese food, and the it was just it wasn't French cuisine. The bread was good.
The baguettes and the cheese. That's all I need.
The bread and
man.
the cheese
That's all I need.
was pretty good. I mean,
But you've
listen,
gone back to America where you actually can get that mid-tier food like pretty good. Think about me. I've gone back to the UK. Think about
Yeah.
TMV. We've gone back to the UK. And
I mean,
it's so rough. It's
it
so
is,
rough.
Unless you
And
live in
that
London, yeah.
and that is why I love Factor Meals, our sponsor for this episode. Because fall always feels like a reset.
I thought you were just the worst host of all time, and I was like, when is this guy going to talk about the sponsor?
Between
He's
going
just
back to
waffling for like
school-
this episode's been like an hour long. We haven't even got into it.
Between going back to school, busier routines, and shorter days, finding time to cook can be tough. And let me tell you, you don't live in Paris, and I know that because you didn't turn up to the group stage games. That's why I love Factor Meals. Their chef-prep, dietitian-approved meals make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious, no matter how hectic your off-season gets. You got variety, you got meals, you got all sorts of different things. Do you want something low-calorie? Do you want something high-protein? Do you want something Mediterranean, Asian, Thai, whatever? 97% of customers say that Factor helped them live a healthier life. Who are you? Are you the stupid 3%? You really think you're special, huh? You think you're not going to get value out of this? Don't be dumb! Eat smart at factormeals.com/Valorant50 off and use code Valorant50 off to get 50% off your first box, plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code Valorant50 off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box, plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase.
Attack everything with positive energy. Let's go.
There we go. And so now I will show you though what I ate right before this. My camera broke while I had my pizza in the oven, and so I burnt the shit out of my pizza. It was in there for like an hour, and it's just
What are you doing?
burnt
Chopping
to
it up with
bits.
scissors and just you don't eat the
Yeah,
crust?
I could only get no. The crust is inedible. I normally eat the crust. It's like chewing on a brick. It's not possible to get through that thing. So yeah, that wasn't Factor, and I've realized my mistake. That's all I'm saying. Let's talk about the team who won the whole of Paris. NRG, they absolutely popped off. The only team they've lost to in the last, 3 months or something is G2. In Champions, they didn't lose a game. They only lost, 2 maps on the run-up to the Grand Finals. But man, did they play some squeaky OT maps that were insanely fun to watch, especially... I say especially early on, actually, but the game against MIBR was ludicrous, too.
Yeah, it was.
Double 16-14s.
MIBR. Dude, DRX was ludicrous. They shouldn't have won the DRX game. They had bad starts like every single map. I mean, they lost 4 pistols out of 6.
I think going into the
Dude,
finals,
every
NRG,
game.
they had a 30% win rate with pistol rounds going into the finals, which is insanity because that, it just goes to show. We know from the eye test as well, watch them. You know that they're doing absolutely everything else perfectly. Or close to perfect. The attack side calling was improved. Ethan's attack side calling got so much better over the course of the event, and just even at the beginning of it as well. And the defense halves goes without saying. We already knew that was going to be good, but then they were doing all of this without winning pistols.
They might also be the only team ever to have won champions while going negative in first kills. Because they had an under 50% first kill rate.
That's crazy. That's actually crazy.
In groups, they lost more rounds than they won, and
Yeah.
won both games.
Yeah.
And went 4-1 in maps and lost more rounds than they won to get out of group. So it was it's a bit of a ludicrous run, really.
Have you ever seen the Reddit thread that's something like Riot should redo NRG versus MIBR just in case it was a fluke?
Yeah.
If I genuinely ask you, you go back through their matches, what are the chances of the outcomes actually being the way that they are? I think a 10-2 recovery against EDG, double 13-11 wins against DRX, 16-14 double wins against MIBR after getting blown out on Haven. The finals is less so ridiculous on their side. It's more the other direction. But it feels like a run like this should not be likely at all.
I mean, yeah. I just, man, the thing that I love about this team is they're just Valorant abusers, bro. They're like, they got some nice stuff down. They got some good stuff. They got a relatively okay map pool. I don't know how they got away with the whole tournament not playing bind, but I won't go into that. But I will say, man, these guys are good Valorant abusers. There was this one round where it was their bonus round. They had a judge broken, a stinger broken, an outlaw broken. I think Ascent or Lotus, I can't remember, and an Odin. I was just looking at all 4 guns and I was like, these are the 4 guns that I would nerf in this game. Like they don't get like, there's too many gun purists in this game. I love that they won event just using all of this stuff. And I honestly could talk about how good Bonkar is for about an hour, because the stuff that he's done to make the calling easier and the protocols that he's set and just the defaults that he does and the fast strats that he does has just made Ethan's life so easy. There was a cool little content piece that you guys did where it was like, I can't remember who the IGLs were. It was Boaster and Ethan, and they asked about like, what's the one thing about like IGLing that other people don't understand, and then Ethan's was just like, it's just so easy when everyone else just inputs so much. Like everyone else is just inputting so much information. I was like, oh, that's so telling, bro. Bonkar's like got everyone down to just relay so much information. The one in their 4-1 defaults knows when to call them back. If they reach resistance on like Lotus on attack on C, they'll instantly just go back and take over towards A. They just have steps that they take if something happens. Reminds me of like old school Oster when he used to call, just like this happens, so I do this, and then like this person can give me info. This is awesome to watch, man. I think Bonkar's done absolute wonders. And then when the time gets tough, they'll fast strat, or their focus is always around orbs. They're one of the most orb and ult focused team I've seen.
Yeah.
One away, let's get this orb, let's keep it simple, let's do this. We're then snowballing this next person into the other round so we can have that ult. We've got this ult into this, let's do this strat. It's just, this is how you play Valorant. It's something that, in my opinion, when I watch DRX, they could really do with. Like that Valorant mindset of just ults and just make everything easy for you. Just set plans.
Yeah. Even the eco rounds, they were like the sign of a really good team as well, is that they are thinking about how they can possibly get the most out of an eco round. Whereas some teams, I would watch DRX play and I'm like, you just don't have the dog in you in terms of that creativity because they were such a new roster. Like honestly, with Mako coming back in as an IGL, making a bunch of changes and the meta shifts, you can tell that they were really kind of leaning on the exec heavy style of Flashback Hyunmin, carrying them a lot in terms of them having good performances. But NRG's ecos, they're setting up trap plays, they're min-maxing the orbs at the same time, just really trying to think about how to get the most out of every single round, like real percentage Valorant. And it's really funny, Sliggy, as well, you mentioning all those guns as well, because during the finals, I was sat in a little area, me and Alice were watching, the G2 boys were in front of us, we had the Valorant devs were behind us. And every time Brawk would get a little two-piece, or any time there was some bullshit kill of a weapon, I would slowly turn around and look at the head dev, and I would just say, add it to the list. Add it to the list.
Yeah, dude.
And he would be like, yeah, okay, yep, writing it down. And so, listen, there'll be some changes. Brawk might single-handedly get the Odin nerfed.
Bro, as I said before this tournament, when we were hyping up this tournament, I was like, Brawk's going into the Hall of Fame and he's getting this gun nerfed. I didn't think he would do it to this extent, to be honest. I also didn't realize just how good he was with this gun. It's actually astonishing. You can tell he puts a lot of time into it.
Did you see the pick rate stuff that I pulled it for a desk on the finals? I think it was like between map 1 and 2 or something, and it was that Brawk was the highest picker of the Odin across stage 2 and champs if you separate them out, but in stage 2 he was only picking it about 13%, 17%, something like that. So not a huge amount of the time. And then at champs he was picking it over 50% of the time. At the time I pulled it, it was like 49%, but that includes that includes pistol rounds where you eco in, like rounds where you literally can't even buy the Odin. But of the rounds where you're allowed to purchase it, he's picking it way over 50% of the time. So his pick rate with it went up dramatically. Other people's didn't actually go up that much. It felt like you had people trying to copy him. Like Crashy's tried to do it on Corrode. You obviously had Boaster doing a ton of it on Lotus, spamming through the tree, but he's always been doing a lot of that. Like Jonah P tried to pick up some Odin too, but none of them were even close to the amount that he was using and the time he put into it.
I think none of them are even close to as good as him. Like, that's the thing. when there was moments in this tournament where he has an Odin and maybe the person on the other side has an Odin, and you know who's gonna win. You know who's gonna find the right spam. There's not even like this, right? Like no one else is doing that. He was just unbelievable with it, and I thought it was super cool. And like it's cool that like, you know, for the rest of his career as well now, I mean, no matter what happens with the Odin, it's cool to just have this like very strong association when, you know, like if anyone brings out an Odin, everyone's going to be thinking of Brawk and everyone's going to be thinking of this tournament because it's just like a signature gun. He now owns the gun. They should make a Brawk skin with just like his.
They really
face
should
on.
actually though. No, they actually should.
yeah.
They actually should. I think though that it would be cringe if everyone was good with the Odin, but it's fucking sick that only one guy is dominating with the Odin. Because I know that some people domestically, I mean, you were hyping up like Art, for example, with his Odin usage, and there have been some other people that have used it to some degree, but no one, whether it's because of time or whether it's because of like he's got a particularly good skill with it, no one else is doing this stuff that he's doing with the gun. It's not like Chamber where everyone was good with Chamber, but Ye was incredible. Other people, it's not even worth them buying the Odin to the same level that Brawk is.
Yeah, he puts. You can tell he puts the time in. His spams are better than other people, and the thing that impresses me the most is he wins like 50-50 duels, like Vandal into Odin. Everyone else, when it's a 50-50 duel and they have an Odin, you give the other person like a 70. No one can like swing in and instantly pop people as much as him. He's great with it. He does an ADS when he's doing it, so it's like instant wind up. And at the same time, as soon as he crouch and moves, he knows the recoil. He knows like exactly where to aim down, so it's instant. It's a legit skill, and it reminds me of like when I was getting people to use the Judge at the beginning. Like there is tech to it. It looks like a noob weapon, but there's so much tech to it, and he's way better than everyone else. It's like YZ when he used the Judge. Way better than everyone else at it. It tapped with the Judge. This guy's out here just winning 50-50 duels with an Odin, because he knows if I crouch and I move to the left, my recoil's going up to this amount and it's going to this corner. And then at the same time, he's just so good at just holding pixel angles, and people... I mean, there's not enough util to push him off a lot of the time. It's just, bro's a beast of it, man. I get that people are like think that it's not skillful, but that's the game. You just got to accept it. Like you're literally in your rank games, you're getting to gold, you're like, oh, I can't get out of gold, mate. Just fucking use this gun. You'll be ascendant, you'll be immortal. Just do it. Stop being a gun purist when you're shit. And like it's a different game.
I feel like I'm getting personally attacked. It's fucked up.
That's crazy.
I'm not willing to put in the time. That's my problem, Sliggy. Like, I can't be bothered putting in the time to learn the Odin and like where do I point it in order for it to do damage to somebody who's scaling up? Oh, it's nerdy as hell. It's a nerd's
Yeah,
weapon.
It's a lot of time.
Good. A good weapon.
Yeah,
This is what the game is. It's the game that we like. And he's done a great job. He's done a great service to the game that's going to get nerfed. And I applaud him for it. And I think he's a beast.
Yep. Other players on, and let's talk. Let's move away from Brawk and talk Ethan. So he was one of the talent's favorites to win MVP. I think because they were very narrative pilled, but also that final map he went absolutely
He went
bonkers.
nuts.
So
He has been at it
absolutely see why.
from now forevermore. When we do the top 10 list and Ethan's at an event, he's going to get the big game player tag. He's up there now, and he should have been up there, to be honest. But he is a big game player. When the pressure's on, he doesn't fold. It just shows from his experience. The guy. I mean, he just turned the fuck up. You can tell the confidence at which he was taking fights on Sunset. That guy knew that he was lifting a trophy. He knew that it was stopping here. Like, there was no chance at a reverse sweep, because it's just like, I've never seen a Breach player get so fucking active. His team's taking a fight. He's happy to swing in. He's getting 2 every time. Can't be traded out with pure rifle play. I mean, he was getting active. It was really giving flashbacks to 2023. 2023 had an insane run in terms of his form. He was the best initiator at the event in 2023, easily, without a doubt, in terms of the way he set up his team was util, the way he positioned himself to immediately be following up off of their space that he set them up for, trading out kills. Like, it was very much mirrored. He's definitely cemented. I mean, a lot of the CS heads are probably like, well, of course, like, don't you know it's Ethan? But still, it's crazy to see it again while he's also been asked to pick up the mantle of IGLing when we know he struggled with it so much in the prior year.
Yeah. I think I actually just watched this game back for a video I'm going to do about it. And watching this Sunset, I actually think round 3 I don't know if you can remember, but they're in a terrible spot round 3. They're like stuck on B site in like a 2v4. And FNATIC are all surrounding them, and they don't have the spike down.
I'm visualizing it.
And he just goes and like you say, Brent, he realizes he needs to be active, pushes backside, gets 2 kills. And then Brawk and him managed to coordinate together in a panicked moment.
Bro, you'd be a terrible caster.
Sorry.
You're casting in the future right now.
Keep going. Go past. So they try and fake this A. They're going to come back to B. Yeah, we can get to this part. They're going to go and hit B. FNATIC realize, they prowler behind the smoke. They realize no one's there. They go. They're going to get fucked here for NRG. They get fucked. Here they go. We're in a terrible spot. Ethan realizes, fuck it, I'll make the play. Boom, dead. Keep going, son. Keep going. Boom, dead. Now, 2v2. Time's low. Don't panic. Swing together. Oh, mamma mia, beautiful. And then they finally, Brawk then fucking deletes crashes as they almost might win the round. But I think that round was so crucial because if you think about it from a obviously now looking back, it's like, oh, NRG dominated Sunset. But at the time, it was like, FNATIC have just come back from 11-1 and won a map. They then have kind of comfortably won Ascent as well. And they're about to win. They've won Pistol and are about to win Bonus. I think that round saved them. Because it could have very easily just started to completely spiral out of control if they lose that. And then, Kurt, you were about to show the round where somehow he fucking gets 4 kills and does the double spray down as well, which was unbelievable.
Yeah, that was
to kind of like one. Definitely sealed the game as well. So... yeah, I mean, it was just an unbelievable performance, and it stopped me from oiling up, so he's always a legend in my book.
It feels strange that of all of the players on EG to have won a trophy, or even all of the players to have lifted a champs trophy, that it's Ethan that lifts the second. And I'm not saying that because Ethan's bad, but because he is more of a supportive element on the teams that he's been with. And we tend to think about, I think, the more impactful players on those runs, like
the carriers,
or a Jorgamo, or someone like that, maybe even. Yeah, I mean,
dude,
it's nuts, isn't it?
The impact he had. I mean, he had like 4 or 5 rounds where he just solo saved them. It was insane. I think as well at the moment to warrant double initiator, you have to, especially the flash initiator, you have to be very good with util. We spoke about him fragging out a lot, but his util's so nice, man. Like his util's really, really good. And even on like the DRX game on Corrode, where they were kind of antiing his knives and stuff, he was like waiting and holding on to them a lot longer, so he's like adapting on the fly. And just his general calling, man. If you told me in 2024, after watching some of the shit that I saw, that this guy would be lifting a trophy, not a chance. No. Especially IGLing, holy shit.
Yeah.
Because that turnaround is crazy. And mad respect to just being able to do this, because I don't think there were many people apart from him and maybe his coach that kind of believed that they could do this, and for the whole team for believing as well. So
I think the glow up is even more recent than that too. I seem to remember us at the start of stage 2, maybe. It was their game against 100 Thieves, actually, wasn't it? Where they played, funnily enough, week 1, they played Bind and Sunset, 2 of their worst maps, even like at the end of the season too. Although Sunset, they've actually had, some decent records on and end up winning the entire thing on that map. But they left it till the end of the Veto because it isn't one of their greatest. And yeah, the vibe coming out of that game was, holy shit, this team has so many problems that they're going to have to fix up. The attack side calling looks like it's got so many issues. And within a month...
It was champs when it started to look good.
Yeah,
that's all I can. Genuinely, their attack side calling outside of a few maps like Lotus.
Yeah.
Their attack side calling was really bad. But then at the event itself, some of their Haven games, my God, they were fucking playing the opposition like a fiddle. The way that they were pushing and pulling and finding the gaps as well. I mean, credit to the whole team for it, but they really tightened up the attack sides. They deserve an immense amount of credit, I think, as well for their ability. I think it's no coincidence as well. The past 2 champs, we've had a team heavy anteing and having that as like their win cons, and they're going for the upper bracket. They have a lot of time to prepare, look at their opponents, because NRG, EDG, when they lifted the trophy, I think as well, large part of the reason they were winning, outside of like obviously their players incredibly talented and Kankan going huge and an insane player, but it was anteing and being able to ante an opponent, putting theory into practice in an official setting is a really, really hard thing to do. So I mean, credit to them, because I think we're in the era of the game where If you can do that, if you've the ability to pick apart what few preparations a team can make that you're playing against, especially in the current state of the circuit, the way it doesn't give much space for teams, dude, you can absolutely go on a run, which they did. They did.
Yeah.
They deserve all the credit in the world for being able to do that.
They also deserve a lot of credit for being able to keep their mentals resilient throughout. I mean, not even in the finals after that massive comeback in map 3 on Abyss. I mean, literally all throughout the tournament, because they were playing some ridiculously close games, had massive comebacks happening, and they have 3 rookies. I mean, I know that these aren't like the most inexperienced rookies in the world. They've been playing for.
Did you see Soms talk to the team on the phone?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
it's linked it in the runner show.
It's worth bringing up with audio.
You can't just go be dry. It doesn't work.
Yep. Yo,
Okay.
I need to say this. I need everyone to listen very fucking carefully. Forget about everything. I don't care who we're playing. I don't care about the crowd. We need to play our game. I don't give a fuck if you guys think our Sunset's bad or good. Play our fucking game. If you guys want this fucking trophy, then fucking show it to me. I'm fucking serious.
Together. You need the fucking energy.
Let's go. Come on,
Show
Adam.
everyone how much you
Come
want
on.
this. We worked for it for so long.
I'm so
Come
if
on,
you want this
guys.
fucking trophy,
Let's fucking go.
let's play
All the
like
way.
it. I'm
Yalla,
serious.
boys. Yalla, boys. Come on.
Let's go,
Come on
boys.
now.
Let's go.
The most important thing.
Having
Have some fun.
Have some fucking fun,
Yo,
boys.
across every map we played.
I love it, dude. I love how Ethan starts cracking up in the middle of it as well, just as Bonkars, because Bonkars said that to them earlier on as well. I think he said it at the very start of map 1, because I remember hearing that on the comms replay earlier in the match, where he said the same thing. The most important thing is to have fun, and then he did his fucking Waluigi. Yahoo! It's so good. But like they did such a great job of maintaining composure in the sense that they still went for risks in important situations where you would often see teams clam up. I felt like I was seeing a team that was still playing as if it wasn't a massive match in a lot of these big games here at Champs.
Yeah,
They did play their own game quite a lot.
No, and I think they definitely went for risks. Like even the veto at the end is a risk. Like they know they have a bad sunset, because even him at the end, like at the beginning of that clip, he's like, "Guys, we can't dry B." And if you literally watch their sunset, they try and just spam B all the time. So they know they're not bad at they're bad at that map, but they just looked at FNATICs and they're like, man, these guys are worse at this map. Like, we can take the risk here and not play Haven, which I think is awesome. And again, I think that Ethan did nice calling. It was just map control. Like, you look at it in the mini-map, and you watch one demo of that, and you're like, oh, I'd annihilate this. But it's so different from what they've shown before. It doesn't matter if they 5-pass and take space and cut sound, and then re-hit. It's just nice and simple.
Too.
Yeah, just, I mean, they're shocking at this map
it
as
was
well.
really bad. I mean, the device.
It's an incredible way to end.
It was so
I
good,
think
bro.
Cyber's a must on the map because you give up so much control. But yeah, it was a.
I was so excited for Sunset because I'm just like, I think this might be the 2 worst Sunset teams at the event. And they're playing it in the final. I was like, this is fucking awesome. It's so
an incredible
good.
way. It's an incredible way to finish. Any further thoughts on NRG?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to shout out the other 3 as well, because I think that when it came to the MVP as well, it was relatively open. Like, I was thinking Scuba might be up there just because of the amount of clutching he was having as well.
It was
insanely
insanely clutch.
Yeah, Scuba was so good, especially in the final as well. And then Madder obviously just had mad impact, and then someone was just winning like all the important duels and stuff. So it was like, it was pretty open for MVP. It was just a sick team effort. Just a nice event from them. It really was.
Yeah. We did talk about Brawk quite a bit, but let's just hit touch on him winning MVP of Champions Paris. He had such a. Everyone else was extremely emotional after the victory. You had Som and Ethan breaking down a little bit. Som goes on to Finesse's stream later on as well, and they're having a really emotional moment together. And then Brawk's just kind of like big chilling in the background with his arms crossed. And then he gets interviewed by Lou, and he's like, hasn't really sunk in yet, honestly. And then he won the MVP towards the end as well. It must be really bizarre being up there in your first year playing tier 1 in a manner like this, but man, was he good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so good. Yeah.
I think the thing that makes it so surprising as well, you talked about like how they had 3 rookies, but this is like their first international for, everyone but Sam and Ethan. And I think that is what makes this kind of maybe more surprising than, like when EDG won, it was like, oh, this is a surprise. But like EDG have been to loads of internationals at that point. They had started to win some games at internationals as well. Like, I think that this one is just like 3 rookies, some of which didn't even start this year on the team, go to their first international. And like you said, you would expect a team like that when they start getting to the top 3, and they're playing in grand finals, the crowd, and it did seem like maybe, when Abyss was going on, and the crowd started getting into it, maybe they did start to, waver a little bit there, and it was there. But I mean, Tom said during that clip, right, don't care about forget about the crowd, right? And I think that that's, I think, just very impressive, and sort of why I think this also seems to have come out completely nowhere is the fact that, they weren't even making internationals, and yet they dealt with it so well of being in that high pressure situation.
Yeah, I think that's true of it's true of all 3 of the rookies as well. They played like their own game. Like Brawk wasn't scared to just abuse the guns and just show everyone what he's been practicing on. And then at the same time, like I'm watching Madda early on losing a pistol just because he faced early on corrodes, and then he's going for like 3 more risks straight after that, like in the following rounds. And I'm like, damn, it's so nice to see these rookies not give a shit that they're on the biggest stage and not play scared. Like they're just playing how they would play if it was just like a scrim or just like an actual normal game. That's so cool to see, man. So yeah, I'm super impressed with just all the rookies. And dude, all the tier 2 players are watching this must be inspiring as hell.
Yeah.
Must be so cool.
I said on the desk afterwards that Valorant's the only place where the American dream is alive and well, because you can go from being tier 2 to tier 1 to winning champs within a year.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But also in Americas is like the amount of America's tier 2 talent is nuts. It is incredible to see. But also we saw so many rookies. I remember writing down this stat somewhere, and now I'm gonna have to pull it out of my ass because I can't remember where I wrote it. But it was something like there was such a large chunk of the people playing at champs were rookies this year, and we're like, with 3 years into partnership, you would expect that to slow down a little bit, or at least I would, as people start getting recycled a bit more. You find out who the great players are, that kind of stuff. And yet there was such an enormous amount of rookie players still at this champs, and this is what, our 4th champs that we've had.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
This is aside from
over
everything.
a quarter. Sorry, over a quarter of the players at champs were rookies.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's wild.
This is like almost a fake narrative, but I was trying to think of reasons. This little factoid. But any team that has beaten Aspas at champs goes on to make the grand finals of champs every single time. Which, when I said this, it's because that he's made top 3 in outside
I was
of
going to
this
say,
one.
yeah. It's always
But also, you go back to 2022, they lost to Optic in groups. Optic eventually get to the finals in 2022. And then it's literally happened. Every single champs, no matter what. And this is the earliest he's gone out in ever since he's attended every single champs. But it's still true. It's like every team that's been it. Now, actually, it immediately falls to pieces because DRX didn't make the finals. but NRG did. They beat them. So
I love Brent's
listen,
stats.
I'm trying to hold on to this narrative so fucking hard that Aspas is like the final boss that you got to get through to prove that you can lift the trophy at champs, which I think is a cool storyline. It's fucking sick, but I'm ham-fisting it so fucking hard. I'm desperately trying to make it a thing.
I like it. Well, when narratives fail, just simply lie. Sometimes there's more truth in fiction than in fact.
I mean, it's right there for you, Brent, though. Like, the 3 teams that beat MIBR at this champs were the top 3.
Yeah.
There you go.
So he just took 1 step backwards this time.
1 step back.
Yeah. All right, let's talk FNATIC though, because this is the team that we were discussing. I had them as my team of the year, though you guys didn't agree. They're in the running for it. They came second at Toronto, came second at champs, came second at the Blood Money tournament as well. So they've had phenomenal deep runs to make grand finals multiple times. Here, they were exceptionally close to getting 3-0'd. So it's not like you can really say they had the best shot in the world of winning the entire thing, but they did still make it to 5 maps, and then we're playing on one of their opponent's weaker maps, and definitely felt like they could have lifted a trophy. I was crushed at the end of it, to be honest. Looking at Bosa, like the way in which he reacted at losing was heartbreaking. I'm very glad that he's continuing to play next year, because I was worried. I was getting sucked up by the narrative of it being a retirement year.
Yeah, they did that a lot, right? Because there was a lot of clips where it's just like emphasizing that it might be the final, or like what a good way to go out, and you're just like, oh shit, he's like considering it. And then when you get to the 5th map, you're like, oh man, dude, he could end on top. This would be incredible. Like what a career. And then he loses, and then you see him like crying at the end. And you're just like, oh shit, man. Like, is he done like fully? So it's pretty cool that he's sticking around. Dude, he's just a fucking blessing to the game. Yeah. He's a how entertaining he is insane.
He's the last of a dying breed.
This
IGL that is, listen, they're not putting up the numbers necessarily, but he is definitely the rock of this team that they get built around. And I agree. When we were thinking about it coming in, of potential last dance for Boaster, and it could have been the cap at the end of his career, the one trophy that's always eluded FNATIC, despite their accomplishments in years prior, and making the finals in that year as well at Toronto. But definitely it was heart-wrenching almost as well, seeing his reaction, because I think in his head as well, he's coming close to the point where pro play dominates your life as a player. The reason we don't see pro players generally over the age of 30 is not because they can't keep up with reaction times and their health is declining and degrading. It's because it demands your life 24/7, and you can't afford to have a personal life. I mean, it's immense credit to anyone who's in a relationship with an esports player, because they'll know what it's like. You don't have access to them, barely at all. So he's probably thinking about his future. He's probably thinking about his life, about what to do next outside of just pro play. And I mean, in his head, you can tell he put it all out there in that finals to try and win. And God, it is heartbreaking stuff seeing him. He comes so close to the final finish line, and then just absolutely,
I lost Brent's
stumble
mic.
at the final block. As well. I was trying to work out if it was me or
wait. No, he's back. He's back. And I don't know whether Kurt lost his mic as well, so we might just be reacting to nonsense. But,
but I didn't. We
sorry,
didn't
cut out.
No, you're fine.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Yeah, we lost you for a moment, but the people didn't. So that's
it was incredibly heartwarming and eloquent.
I'm sure it was.
Very smart and intelligent. Yeah.
That's what we gotta know. Yeah.
Yep.
Good. Just for a moment on Boaster, the culture shock of the CS frogs coming in and seeing him twerking, stupefying people, breakdancing on the floor. It does, like, as a Valorant person, you're like, oh yeah, that's just Boaster. And then you think about it from someone who hasn't seen players like that, and you're like, it is really rare that someone is confident enough in themselves to act so goofy on stage when the entire focus of their world, the Valorant world, is on them. Most people do try to play it like a bit cool, I suppose, but he never does. He never tries.
Yeah, he's just being himself. I like that a lot, man. He's a theatre kid, and he's brought that to Valorant. And dude, it's an entertainment product. It's literally awesome. It's awesome for the game. Never seen a guy do a worm on stage in the middle of a CS game. So like, and I've been following CS for like 15 years, man. So to come watch it here, it's just like, you say it's a culture shock. It still feels kind of surreal sometimes when I'm watching him pulling out the Macarena and stuff. But yeah, man, I love him for this game. I just think it's perfect. I hope he has like the longest career ever, and just because, bro, we're not going to see someone like him again. We just got to enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's so entertaining. It's so entertaining. It's so funny.
Other players on FNATIC then to focus on, or the run overall.
Real quick, I found a funny clip with Poster interacting with ohnePixel while on stage.
Okay, great.
Boys, what are you doing, you? ohnePixel, Zestify!
9!
Wait, did I show that?
We can't see it.
Boys, what are you doing, you? ohnePixel, Zestify!
9!
It is just really funny. So that was the second day after the chat had like, and a bunch of people had been posting on like the CS subreddits and stuff, just being like, projecting their own sense of insecurity onto Boaster. Dude, some of the comments were so funny. Like, for example, you can tell his teammates don't really like him. Oh, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? They literally love playing with that guy. He brings so much good vibes into the team. It's just insane how people project their own insecurities onto people that like they see on camera. It's mad. It's really mad.
Nonchalant epidemic because you're too scared to be yourself in case people hate you.
Yeah, but it's very funny.
Bad.
Other players then. FNATIC, they had, I think one of the biggest matches for them was their win against Paper Rex with Doma in.
Mate.
That game was insane.
Shit.
That game was insane. If we want, dude, I was praying that we went full WWE and Doma walked out in his 2021 jersey because that would have completed my life if he did that. But how sick was this game? I mean, listen, he didn't take over, but he's filling in the shoes for one of the best players, if not the best player on FNATIC. And that's crazy that they managed to pull this off and keep themselves in that spot. I mean, it's just unheard of.
Dude, he did good as well, though. Big impactful rounds. He had some double kills. He had the 1v2 on Lotus.
The 1v2 saved their asses.
Yeah, that's a savior. That's a savior round from him. Dude, what a beast as well. He landed like 4 hours earlier and then just goes straight to the stage. So it's so impressive. And I also respect like FNATIC's coaching and managing staff as well to just be like, yeah, we need to, like, Alpha's too sick. We gotta make the call here. And the fact they win it, man. I remember people asking me before, and I was like, talking if I should give him a Bala 30%. I think it's like, oh, I'll give him a 25%. I can't give him anything above a 30.
Was in the green room.
Yeah.
Mimi's in the green room watching the game, saying 0%. 0% the whole time. 0%.
But going into the game, it was like, because it was like, oh, it's FNATIC Paper X. It's going to be a banger. And then it was like, Alphea's not playing. It's like, it did deflate. Like, and then you know, we get like map 1 when Paper X, it's a bit scrappy, and it's like, oh well, FNATIC are actually in this, but Paper X win it, and you're like, oh, that's probably it. And then FNATIC come back, and actually the Crashies 1v1 with Forsaken was such an insane moment on Lotus where he gets detained and then Forsaken wins.
Yes.
And Crashies said that like as soon as that happened, like they knew they were gonna win. Like there was no way they didn't. And yeah, it was just, well, again, this is just one of the reasons why this is such a good tournament, because it had it's just weird, like you say, Brent, WWE, that's Doma's music, like what's going on?
This play was almost insane.
No,
I can't believe what's even happening here. Like, it's just mad. It's all over the place.
Well, Crashies was saying that, like, in the comms at that point, you know, there's 2 people saying stick it, there's 2 people saying he's detained, go kill him. There's, you know, like it's just all chaos, and then
he does that,
yeah.
I think as well, it's like, I think because when you have a sub as well, if you're thinking of the other team, I think when you start making that comeback as well, like it builds the pressure so much more, because it's like, dude, we're gonna lose to a stand-in. Like that mental and not staying in the moment must be crazy, because you know everyone's thinking, God, what if we actually lose to a stand-in now? And when it starts getting closer and closer, you definitely start thinking about it. So I think if you get it close, having a stand-in, it definitely has that like mental impact on the other team.
Dude, this was literally the beginning of the end. This was the last round that Paper X, I mean, the one before this was the last round that Paper X won on this map.
Yeah.
And then Doma wins a 1v2, and it just cascades from there. It was absolutely nuts to watch the amount of comebacks that we had, and this one's an all-timer. Yeah. Even though it wasn't the biggest comeback.
They're not good themselves.
No, it really wasn't.
Give a lot of credit to Chronicle as well, because I mean, he put everything into this game.
He was crazy.
Everything. Was it after this one that he was like tears crying?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was this one.
Yeah. This game, because he's never shown that level of emotion before on the stage, but you can tell he put everything in this game to give his team that chance.
Yeah, he was 31
he dropped 31. Bro, Kayak though dropped 50 across the first 2 maps after not having a very good like the last time Kayak had a great game before this was like early stage 2 or something. I can't even remember. Maybe it was like the end of stage 1 or something like that. Like Kayak had been having a bit of a slump for a while, and then he woke up in this game and popped the fuck off. He was nuts. I guess Kayak actually was good in the previous game too against DRX. Sorry, I guess it was like once playoffs hit, Kayak was starting to wake up.
Yeah,
dude. Moments like this though are just ludicrous from Paper Rex. Oh man,
Yeah.
it was tough
Insane
watching
game.
this game from their perspective.
Oh no, it really was, yeah. But I don't know, man. I think as well, especially coming into this event, like how much work FNATIC had to do for their map pool as well was pretty impressive. Like the Sage change up on Ascent, like won them some games as well. And it just shows with their performances throughout the year. They're just a great team at adapting to metas, and dude, even adapting to having a stand-in. Like what they actually achieve is kind of nuts a lot of the time. So.
They have 3 players coming to the end of their 3 players coming to the end of their contract this year. Rashies, Boaster, and Chronicle.
You gotta give them the bag, man.
Yeah, unfortunately,
you gotta give
have
them the
to
bag.
give them a lot of money.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
no team is getting that level of consistency where you're going to back-to-back finals. They might not have lifted a trophy, but
it would be diabolical to see them break the core up.
Yeah,
and I guess
Well,
Crashies
if
isn't
you're
the
saying
core,
like
but
Bolster is
like,
coming back for one last dance. Surely he's not just going to some random team. Surely.
no, that'd be crazy.
So
just
I
an
would feel
import
confident
team in
Bolster wanted
China
to
and
stay.
just gets paid like $1 million. a month.
yeah,
Yeah,
good
maybe.
imagine.
Dude, I could see that though. I think he'd have
Yeah,
so much
maybe.
fun.
Dude, he
doing
would
that as
he
well.
would
Yeah.
farm. He would farm if he did that.
Wolves
Yes.
Bolster.
Wait a minute.
The retirement the retirement tour in China for Boaster would go unbelievably hard, actually. Unbelievably hard. And I think he'd be really good at it too. Like I think he'd actually do a great job over there in terms of like constructing systems that would help the scene a lot in terms of like creating stability. Anyway, that's just a pipe dream for many years in the future, hopefully. Let's move on to DRX, who played against, well, they ran the lower bracket, man. They ran the lower bracket. They played against NRG twice, played some spectacular games, played against both of the finalists, obviously, too. The 5th, 6th curse is a weird thing when we talk about DRX because they've done it so often, but they did also make 3rd place in 2022 champs. They made 3rd, 4th at lock-in. But this really does feel like it has no relevance anymore discussing 5th, 6th.
This is insane because DRX, they beat all the remaining first seeds in that lower bracket. They went into every match with no pressure, just expecting to play to have fun. But I hate the way that DRX managed their team rosters because they are full of turbulence. Like, I still think of this squad, even though Flashback has played in the prior year, I still think of them as a team that is filled with young, inexperienced players because they don't really get the chance to play consistently on a roster for a long period of time. I mean, if you look at Flashback's career profile, it's comical. He's going up, down from the academy team. He's ping-ponging back and forth like 4 times.
But that's on him. That's not on Termi.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. But
So
it's also
the flashback one is like excusable.
Yeah.
The other
But
stuff's a little strange.
It's
but
just they
did
make a
find
last-minute change to put. They know that Mako's been very vocal about him not wanting to IGL in the past, right? And they make a last-minute switch up because they're like, well, listen, it wasn't going to work out with Australia. We're going to champs. Might as well switch something up. And they come across this meta-defining play that they go for, which works because you have Hyunmin and Flashback playing the way that they are. It's I have so many issues with the way that this team gets.
You're
one
something,
step
Bren.
away from saying goated.
They are
coaching
goated. No, I
decision.
think they deserve. I think they're going to look back on this and be proud because they should be fucking proud, man.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no way. There's no team that went into this making last hurrah changes ahead of champs and just came out swinging like this with a meta-defining composition that they played all throughout, with good changes, good preparation on all the maps. The execs looked clean as fuck. The actual individual play as well was phenomenal. You saw step-ups across the board, Bane clutching, freeing consistently there. This team needs to be so damn proud, and the only thing I'm wishing for is just more consistency in terms of the way that they play as like a team, and so that they don't make so many changes. Just you found a winning formula, and I think they even had a winning formula last year at champs. It's just again they expected too much of those players. They put so much on the players to perform, but they have it. They've got it here. You have a winning combination in terms of the players you've got. You have something right now. I just want to see them build upon it, and then the sky should be the limit. They really should for this team.
You're forgetting that they have a fucking time machine, Bren. I have no idea how they do this because they have a fucking time machine. There's no way they can be this drilled. There's no way they can be this drilled in such a short amount of time. And then they get given like 3 days before a game as well. And then somehow that 3 days look like 10 days work. Or they change up one of their maps, or they're just like changing a player and it's like 12 days before the LAN. And somehow they're unreal on every map and they got a brand new meta. I don't know how they do it. I get the time he gets a lot of shit. Sometimes he doesn't do his timeouts. I will say that he maybe isn't like a Valorant coach in terms of like, I don't think they use their ults well and they don't have set strats. But in terms of his fundamentals and what he does in the small time, it's very fucking impressive. Like how they can look so good in such a short amount of time over and over again once they get him thrown curveballs. So I think he's very good at like crossfires. Everyone knows what their role is and they have like good good spacing and just all fundamental stuff of like, this is what we do, we're trying to set this person up. So I think it's very impressive, man. Give this team honestly, if you gave this team like a little bit of a Valorant brain of this, we do this, like how NRG call, how like Angel likes to call, you give them a little bit of that and they're a really scary team. Like if you do what Bonkar did with Ethan, with Mako, I think they can go and win stuff, man, because the actual talent on this team, Hyunmin is a beast, and Flashback doing what he did on a completely different role. Again, he's got a fucking time machine. He's got Yoru down when other people have had like 8 months. He's a better Yoru than you guys in 8 months, and he has had 3 weeks. How is that possible? It's very impressive. So yeah, I mean, shout out to this team. I agree with Bren. They should be very like proud of what they did.
Real quick though, it's hard work and graft that they put in, because I remember speaking to Kan Yang, the owner of DRX, right? And at the gala event, all the other teams are there. They've got some form of representation with the players. But DRX didn't have players there. I think they showed up for the press conference and that was it. And then Mako immediately dipped after the questions because they were practicing at 10 p.m. on that night. Like they were still scrimming. They were putting in the most amount of time possible. That Korean East Asian work ethic that they've got, you can tell it manifested in a way that they were drilled. So damn drilled. Whenever teams try to copy their compositions, they weren't doing it to the same level. Like you need to give an immense amount of credit to the players, I think, as well, they made the most of the time that they had there, 100%.
I also think that they hit upon something marvelous here. It's entirely possible that they could have come in with a theory that wasn't quite as good, but man, this theory was really nice with the Waylay Yoru, and other people were finding it super difficult to deal with. It took them a long way. They were basically running it on every single map. Even the maps that they were running the Neon, they were like, nah, fuck that. Let's go back to the Yoru. Run the Yoru instead, bro. It's just working better. And it worked on their attack side because they had these clean execs. Worked on defense side once they added the Yoru in against rather than the Neon on a lot of their maps, because they got that fast TP, good saturate for defense. Like the duelists are just good there too. I think if they had been playing this across stage 2, a lot of other teams might have tried to copy it and got good at it, and we might have seen like more teams pick this up. I think it had legs.
It was starting to look like a meta that people could copy. Yeah, really, because dude, just using it looks hard to deal with, and you saw teams. You're onto something when I think probably Liquid is the best example. When you've seen something, you're going up against it, and you have a chance to like pick a map or have theory against it, and you can't work out how to play against it. Like you've had a day or two to think about it and you still can't work it out. That's when you're onto something fucking golden for sure. So yeah, their theory was so nice. We've seen some teams maybe float this comp on like certain maps, but nowhere near like using the Waylay more like an initiator entry kind of vibe where you get the info and then you pop on, you give them the death note or whatever it is, man. It's kind of crazy.
It's the tracer pulse bomb.
Yeah, it basically is. Yeah.
Zip, throw the pulse, recall.
Get out of there.
Yeah.
I think for DRX and because they kind of did this with Teo as well, right? They were a very good team early in the season with Freeing's Teo, right? They were kind of
I would say the best. Kickoff.
They were at kickoff they were like better than other teams. So like long term, that gives me like, if I was DRX ownership, you would be thinking like, if Valorant keeps going, like the opposite way to what Bren wants, where, they do make changes and they do, bring in new stuff and stuff like that people aren't maybe playing at the absolute peak. It feels like DRX, have shown twice this year that they can come up with ideas that are, are ahead of everyone else essentially, and then use those ideas to basically just carry them. And so, I know that you thought in the problem that they had at Bangkok was maybe they tried that one too many times. Right, yeah. They should have just stuck with what they actually had already, which was good enough. But they tried to do it again, maybe when they didn't need to. But either way, like looking long term, again, and this was another reason this tournament was good, because there was a belief that like DRX could win this tournament, which again coming into it would have seen. I mean, they almost didn't make the fucking tournament. If Talon beat RRQ,
bro,
And no
you
one even
imagine-
wanted DRX in this tournament because we were all
Yeah.
so hyped about talent.
Can you imagine
Yeah.
being Frost at home watching DRX run the lower bracket just one match at a time?
Dude, every time. So every time I end my stream, I always ask my chat, like, "Oh, guys, who do you want to raid? Like, who do you want to raid?" Every time it was a DRX game, as soon as DRX won, they were like, "Raid Frost, raid Frost." Like, guys, stop it, man, stop it! You guys are relentless.
Oh,
I was
people
rooting
just
for him,
love
though.
the drama.
Dude, they kill it. Yeah, they love it.
I think as well. I was just feeling bad for Mako in general because maybe it's just a little bit in my own head with the narrative that I was cooking up. But I was thinking like this guy has been not abandoned, but I mean all of his former teammates, where they had some of the highest highs together, have left him, whether to, to T1 or whatever, scattered away, and he remains as one of the sole players of experience that's looked towards to pick up the younger players he's surrounded by when stuff's going wrong. And he did turn up, and he's doing it while RGLing, which he doesn't want to do. I think they ask a lot of Mako. They really do for this team to succeed.
There was an interview with him that was so sad in one of the clips where it was towards the start of the tournament, I think, and they were going through all the players of the, like who had been to like the most tournaments and stuff, and it's like, Boaster and Buzz and Aspas, and he's like, and everyone's got a trophy but me. And it was just like such a like, holy fuck, bro. Like that's so fucking sad. But yeah, unlucky.
You can tell he struggles slightly with it though. Like he definitely doesn't feel comfy. Like fragging wise, I was losing my mind at his Omen util on defense. His Omen flashes like just randomly get him thrown. Dude, with a little bit of guidance, I think he could be great at this if he actually like wanted to do it. So it'll be interesting to see where DRX go because they're so good. They're so close to being like insanely strong.
When they lost to FNATIC in the upper bracket, Mako had a really terrible game in the final map, and then he was distraught afterwards. Like he was in tears, but in a state after the game. And I thought to myself after that one, I was like, man, there's no way this team has got the mental fortitude to be able to make a run in the lower bracket if this is how they're reacting after losing a game in the uppers. Like upper round one, you've lost to FNATIC, and it's like you've exited the whole tournament, like your entire year's over already. And then they pick themselves back up, defeat G2, MIBR, and PaperX in the lowers, and then end up losing to FNATIC again. So I think he might just be a kind of guy that wears his heart on his sleeve quite a lot too, and is very.
He's never
feels
been
the burden.
He's never been an outspoken player either. He's never been like the charismatic guy that's going to be cheering up your team when they're down. That was never his role when he's in his team. But now it was being asked of him, I think, over this event. As the IGL too. So it's like all these things that are going to normally detract from a level of play that we were so used to seeing from Mako. But I don't know. I just wanted to give him his flowers ever so slightly because he is one of the last remaining players that probably deserves a trophy but hasn't actually lifted one yet.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk PaperX, team that did lift a trophy and odds-on favorites maybe for what is? This is the Hyunmin.
ohnePixel was the biggest Hyunmin fan.
He was.
This guy. Dude, there's a clip of him when Hyunmin pops up on a halftime interview and he just starts losing his mind and is completely mispronouncing the name Hyunmin. I can't remember how he does it, but he said it in the most German way possible.
Yeah, he's calling him Yum Yum.
Yum Yum.
Yum Yum. Yeah. He's just, dude, that was, anyway, sorry.
No, it's so good. He is a sick player to watch though as well. Flashback was
really
dominating the beginning of the tournament, and then Hyunmin was popping at the end of the tournament.
He's
It was so fun to watch.
Dude, I love watching people that are like so good. First bullet aim is like really cool, but then if you can have people that can actually hold angles in this game, bro, he's so good at just holding angles, first bulleting people, man. It's impressive. Very fast guy at aiming. He's got one of the best aim we've seen. He's great to watch.
Yeah. And first international tournament for him as well, was it?
Yeah.
Why do I feel like that's wrong?
I don't know, man. There's been so much turbulence with DRX. I don't know.
Was Fast Masters? No, Fast Masters this year. He was there.
Oh yeah.
He was
did
at Bangkok.
go-
Yeah. He went to Bangkok. Yeah. Something in the back of my mind there. Yeah, second international event. I want to talk about PaperX though. They were the odds-on favorites to be able to win champions. They ended up losing to FNATIC. We talked about that game and how ridiculous it was that they were up 9-1 and ended up losing that on Lotus 13-9. Lost 12 rounds in a row. And then they got eliminated by DRX, which that is probably the most unlikely way for a PaperX to go home. Not because DRX have never beaten them. In fact, they have, like, quite a lot. But when you think about Paper X and how far ahead they've been of every Pacific team in the last 3 months, maybe more than that, it seems bizarre that they would end up getting eliminated or beaten at all by another Pacific team.
Yeah. I think don't know, when I watched them, I think at least for the FNATIC game, I felt like there was a mental side of it, like the losing to the sub thing was in their mind for sure. And then more broader, I felt like their map pool wasn't super solid. Not that anyone's was at this event, but I felt like theirs was like a little shakier. Their bind was their best that I guess. Honestly, maybe their sunset was their best. But bind and sunset, pretty much everyone was just banning. So they ended up having to play like Lotus and Ascent a lot, and the Ascent was fine. Like it was better than it's been in the past, to be fair. But I just don't think it's like doesn't feel like it's just a great map pool for them, really. For sure, the mental side is something to talk about, I think.
This event, I felt like more than the previous ones this year, they were getting by a lot more on the hero plays. They've always had that, right, to win a clutch. But the amount of games where Forsaken was just taken over a round, where he had no right winning it, was kind of crazy throughout the entire thing. Like, just looking back and thinking back on all those moments. But I don't know if you guys agree with that take, but it felt like we've been watching this evolution of Paper X and how good they've gotten at slowing down, tempering the middle section of rounds, not just going go, 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 slowing down rounds as well overall. Like really adding in a lot of nuance to their play to make them a real top team. But this event, it felt like they had to get saved a lot by individuals, and Forsaken was insane at times. And when he couldn't get it done for them occasionally, that was when we saw the crack show.
I think outside of the FNATIC game, I think Forsaken actually played a worse tournament than at Toronto. I think he did more of that at Toronto, in my opinion, than he did.
Maybe
well,
I'm
the
just
FNATIC game really stands out
biased.
because in the FNATIC game, he was like the only thing standing between them and certain failure. He was electric in that match. But I think you saw more bullshit from Forsaken in Toronto.
Well, in the early part of the tournament, it was something was going insane.
Yeah,
right? And he cooled off quite a lot. Not that he played like terribly or anything, but he was just so insane at the start of the tournament.
Yeah,
that he then came back to like a normal level, and the gap seems quite big. To me, it never, like this tournament, it never really felt like it clicked for Paper X. It just never really seemed to, even the games that they won, like it never seemed to be like, like as a team, everyone is just playing like really well. Like when they went on their run in Toronto, it's like this team is playing at an unbelievable level. Yeah, like they were quite far away from that, and it's like you say, Slee, with map pool as well. Their map pool was not great, and I just felt like they took turns, right? Like Jing in the last game against DRX was trying to felt like single-handedly save them, and like you say, like Forsaken against FNATIC and something earlier on in the tournament, but it never felt like it coalesced as like we got at least 3 out of 5 players are having like a good game here. You know what I mean? It was always kind of like bits.
Or just taking over as well, which is sometimes the case with Paper X. You just have a game where 3 of the players are feeling it. They're on an absolute heat check and they can't be matched, and they're just running over them. Because like you said, it was one at a time. It felt like, and especially for something as well, he had such a good early start to the tournament overall, and then it felt like when the pressure was really on him, his decision making got a little bit more sloppier, and he started taking more unnecessary risks and wasn't really, doing it as well, because he started looking like the most consistent offer I've ever seen out of anybody to pick up the gun. I mean, the guy just wouldn't miss, and he would hold his nerve if they were just jiggling as well, perfectly calm in every single moment. But as it got deeper into the tournament, it felt like the nerves and I think the pressure of the moment almost got to him a little bit. But
he was saying that he had been, I think it was in their loss to FNATIC, he said that he had been feeling nervous in their previous matches. And I was like, that's kind of crazy because you're not playing like it.
Yeah.
And then throughout the latter portion of the tournament, maybe I could see some moments of that, but he was still playing with a lot of confidence in a lot of spots. So I don't really know what to think. The other thing that he mentioned in interview is that it was getting harder and harder to play how like he usually does because other people had VODs on him. And he was saying that people are now super ready for me when I'm doing my like normal stuff. So maybe it was like a bit of that too.
Yeah, I mean, the teams were just better at this event as well. They had like
Toronto?
longer time. Yeah. They had longer
Yeah.
time to get used to the meta and stuff like that as well. So, and just so many different styles of play. as
This
well,
was
so-
crazy. This was
this was
this
a
was
sick
ludicrous.
round.
Yeah.
Blast Pack gets them off the defuse and then buys enough time for Jing to be able to get a double kill with the showstopper. Crazy. What's the year looking like overall for Paper X? Because we came into it thinking this might be like
3 of us said
an
that
end
they
of
were the best
something.
team in the year, so.
Yeah,
Bro,
so an
imagine
incredible recovery.
Imagine telling them this when they were 0-3 down in their region, and they had to win 2 games to make sure they were going to playoffs to even qualify to Toronto. This was a sick year for them. That was such a crazy turnaround. It's you gotta look at yourself at where you are at the lowest and be like, damn, like fair play. We actually did pretty fucking good this year. So I think they should be happy. Obviously, your expectations like go as you win tournaments and get trophies, but even you offer them a forfeit champs back when you take away Toronto, forfeit champs. You guys are going to come forfeit champs when you're 2 games and not making masters of Toronto. Like I think they'll take that and they'll be like, yeah, that's way better than what it is right now. I think they should be happy with it.
Literally
And-
every Paper X fan would have snapped off your hand to say you're going to win 1 trophy this year.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
Think about
absolutely,
Paper X. Like, think it's Paper X. They are the team that couldn't win a trophy, and they did.
Yeah.
So great year, best year they've ever had.
Well, you give me the perfect segue because I want to talk about some of the other teams, and let's talk about another team that can't win a trophy. Heretics ended up going out.
I thought you
to
were going to say
Paper X.
G2.
Well,
Yeah, there's a
actually,
few.
let's talk about them too. But because I think the G2 and Heretics kind of do get lumped into a bit of a similar boat. It's a little different though because obviously G2 won back-to-back domestic trophies in Americas, but both of those squads have shown incredible peaks, made it into finals, not been able to deliver. Heretics twice last year. They go out early-ish in playoffs, both of these teams, in ways that you wouldn't necessarily expect either of them. Is that because of the level of competition being increased? Do you think that they should have done better? Is it disappointing? Like, how do you view the results of teams with high expectations like G2 or Heretics?
I think it's hard. I think because Champs is so stacked, it's a little bit harder. It's obviously a disappointment. Like I think anything other than winning for these teams should be like a disappointment, really, because they can and they're kind of expected to at least get to like finals as well. Heretics, I was a little disappointed with Heretics just purely because I thought, when they played against MIBR, they kind of got out. They got out game planned a little bit, especially when Corrode came in. I think Fraud completely owned them in that Corrode game. So I think like shout out to Fraud for this Corrode game, especially when MIBR came in and did completely different stuff to what they had shown on attack. And then Heretics didn't really know how to adapt to that once they didn't see the same strat coming in. And then they kind of played similar to how they had played last Corrode game, where they kind of like turtled over towards A and gave them that free space, and then you could see MIBR had talked about getting that free space and then actually execing over towards the site itself and like what to do when you get into this area. This is how we're going to hit the site. So I was a little disappointed just because I think, they kind of got out game planned in that, and I think you never want that to happen as like, especially as like a coach IDL side of it. And I know I would actually kind of rate the Heretics coach and IDLs pretty high. G2. Don't know, man. G2 lost to Paper X, and who else did they lose to? DRX.
They're on that rough side of the
yeah, that's a hard
initially.
bracket, man. It is a tough bracket. Yeah. They lost
Apart
to
from NRG, the other top 4 are all there with them.
But we do tend to say this kind of stuff, but like
They
at
should
the end of the
beat them.
day, yeah, like if you're a team that wants to lift trophies, you do have to beat the other good teams.
Yeah.
You
for
can't
sure, yeah.
just because the other thing is they don't even get a win, right? It's not even like they make it deep but lose to some big teams. Like, they didn't even get a win in playoffs. They
Well,
went out
to
and
be like, if I mean, this
Most
was another crazy like that Paper X G2 game. Like to me, weirdly
That was
enough,
nuts.
it was a nuts game, and they probably are looking back more at this one than the DRX game as like, you know, the one that they eat. Like, I mean, it looked like they were gonna win on Lotus as well. Like, I think that this is the one that they'll probably be, you know, more angry about if I had to guess, because that game was there for the taking. I think when you look at Paper X overall at this tournament, you know, they lose to FNATIC with a sub, for instance. You know, they do end up finishing 4th. It wasn't like you were like Paper X were there to be beaten. You know, it wasn't like you were playing against the absolute, you know, impossible to beat Paper X maybe at this tournament. So I think that this one they'll be quite annoyed just because of how close it was as well. And they were like, when I'm thinking back to that game, I remember thinking like, oh, G2 are gonna win map 1, and then they ended up winning map 2, and it's like, and then they could have won map 3 as well because, you know, Paper, what was it? It was 9-3, 8-4, 8-4, and they ended up losing on defense side Ascent. Like, you know, rough.
The decision to leave Bind in against DRX is a weird one too, though. After they'd been banning it all event, and then they choose not to go to Ascent. I mean, I guess they were worried that it would have gone Corrode or something, but then banned Corrode. I really don't quite get it. Maybe it would have ended on Bind anyway, if they'd banned Corrode, but
yeah, I remember.
Strange.
I mean, I remember being very adamant that them and NRG had the worst binds I'd seen coming into this event, so I didn't like the veto. But they came, I mean, they did the thing in the interview at the end where they're just like, we have confidence in our binds, but
yeah.
I don't know. That was like when I was sketching up like percentages per map, that was the only map that I gave DRX like a 70 and them like a 30, just because
DRX looked really nice.
So
there.
good at that map, yeah.
Yeah, they looked really good.
I thought their better chance was Ascent. Was that the one that I was thinking?
Yeah, they banned Ascent.
They banned Ascent. Yeah, that was when I looked at it and I was like, I don't know about that, because I think I had Ascent as a 60-42 G2, so like really weighed off.
They were still figuring out a lot of stuff coming into Champs G2, considering that they had they were the first team to qual for the tournament. So in theory, they should have had the most time to prep and figure out what they wanted to play coming into it. Of course, Leaf being out will have
that would change it.
Been a bit of a blow, but Baby Bay was basically playing everything that they would have wanted Leaf to play anyway. So it's not like you had to play dramatically different compositions, but even the comps didn't look kind of set in stone, and their read on the meta was very different to other teams. There was nobody that was playing what they were playing. It felt a bit strange, felt a little strange. But I think the anime arc continues. I'm telling you, this is just like the end of season 3 or some shit. And now it just hypes you up to want to watch season 4 because they haven't got that trophy.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I imagine they'll... Well, I guess we'll see what happens in off-season, but I imagine they'll stick together.
You think they'll stick together full 5?
Yeah. Dude, it's just like... It's a matter of time, isn't it? They'll win one of them in the next 3 years if they can hold it out for 3 years.
Right?
Like the odds are there. They're doing good enough to put themselves in the positions. They just gotta.
I think the lesson from this year has been more that making one move can really shift.
Sure.
Like everything. I wouldn't be surprised to see them make a single change.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if they split everything apart. I wanted to talk MLBR though as well, because they're the last team that I think are really interesting to discuss from the playoffs bracket. Holy shit, Aspas. Gotta start there. Oh my god. He's dropping records on records. Overtook Durka for the kill record in a BO3 at a global event. He now holds the domestic BO3 record and the global record. And he nearly broke that shit again in the next game. And he lost both of them.
Yeah.
But the heartbreaker, the one against NRG, because of how
close it was.
Close the 2 maps they lost were. It was ridiculous. But yeah, god damn.
I mean, he played well. My ultimate shout out here, even though it doesn't look like it when you say the scoreboard, I think Artsin had a great event, man. And I know that he took it, I think that he took it very personally. I saw a lot of stuff where he's like, I'm to blame. Bro, I'm watching this guy, and especially when they're playing like the solo Waylay, someone has to send it in. My guy is sending it in with the best spacing I've seen.
Afraid,
I mean,
he's not afraid of it. And I just think that when you play this comp, you have to have someone like that. And I think he did. I think he did great at just doing his role when he needed to. I thought he had a big step up this event for sure, and even Shannon had a big step up as well from where we saw him last from stage 2. I think like he was clutching out a lot. But the main thing that I took away from this was Fraud's done a masterclass here. Like all the comp changes they had from stage 2 to now made so much sense. Like it really did, and the waylay on Aspas makes so much sense when you see it as well. And he's very good at just making sure that he only TPs when he needs to TP. He's not just going in and being like, nope, Art's in, you go in now. It's like, oh, I'm actually safe here. You guys can come in. Like he's only TPing when he has to. It's like when you watch good chambers, like the tanking util, and they only do it for sure when they're going to get owned. He was like that. He's just making sure that he did the best of just making sure that he held onto his TP. So I think Fraud did an absolute masterclass from where they were at stage 2 coming into this event. But I was very impressed watching him, to be honest.
Man. The fact they lost this map after this round.
It
was tragic.
Oh.
This would have been, if MIBR won this map, this would have been gone down in Valorant history.
Yeah, the bards would be telling tales of it for years to come.
Because it was unbelievable. And ace to, as you're like breaking records, to have an ace to save your team in OT.
Yeah.
Man, what a heartbreaker that they ended up losing it. But I mean, what again? The more we go through and discuss all these things, the more we go through and discuss this thing, this is the best tournament. What are we talking about? This had so many fucking amazing things happen.
It was non-stop. Like every MIBR game was a banger.
Yeah,
like honestly, it was. There was like for best games of the year, there was about 6 of them all in this tournament. It was awesome.
Bren, I know that you had some stats about Artazine in terms of his like improvement from where he was coming into the tournament to where he finished.
Yeah, because they've always played like this, where they put Artazine out there to try and create space to play off for Aspas and everything else, because it's just the way that they play it. Aspas is a very smart, cerebral player, which, listen, I may have worded it in a different way in the past, but I've turned over a new leaf. Because he does. He doesn't really like to create the space for himself, where you see a lot of duelists will take over, but that puts all the pressure onto Artazine. And I need to find the fucking table I brought up, because I was like trying to make my top 10 list. I was taking the Val Oracle data and trying to find the delta between untraded first kills and untraded first deaths, and it was unbelievable. Artazine was the worst player for that coming into the event. He had an 8 percentile difference in terms of his untraded first deaths, like 17% compared to his untraded first kills. And he lessened that with him playing in the same style of play, where he puts his body on the line all the time and he's taking these fights, but way more successful at it. He was shooting better. I think in the end, he ended up with just a -2. From -8 to -2, but -2 was more on line for those players that are just literally sending it for their team. So he had a massive glow up. And honestly, those numbers as well are going to be skewed because he had a bit of a poor showing towards the tail end of the tournament. If you exclude that, he's even better. I mean, there were some games where he was looking like, I was convinced at times it was like Leo that had plastic surgery. And I was like, this guy is just too good. He's too. I've made that same joke like 4 times, but it's true, because he was just fucking. He was not doing this the entire year, and it felt like some players. I think he realized this was his last chance, right? Because some players are just not going to get a second chance. You look at Taco Lee is always the immediate example that pops out in my mind, because when you have that poor performance over the course of a year, your reputation's ruined. You get less chances. So I think Artazine really treated this as like a last dance, last chance to show what he can do in a team. And my God, did he turn up? My God, did he have a massive glow up compared to where he was at the beginning of the year? I think he deserves.
I mean, he ruined my live viewing experience because he fucking destroyed RRQ and he made that game shit.
Yeah, he really did. The one day that you came out was all Artazine. But for the way that MIBR like to play, where he put so much focus into trying to win pistol rounds, bonus conversion, get off to early snowball leads, and setting up Aspas really well, it falls to pieces if Artazine doesn't play the way that he did, as we saw in stage 2.
Yeah, I think that's what people might not realize, is that when you have Aspas on a team, like, you need a feeder. Like, you can't create a team where everybody has...
You can't all be superstars.
You gotta take a risk.
Yeah. Somebody has to be the risk taker, the space creator. And if it's not going to be your duelist, like most teams have it, somebody's just got to send it somewhere. So it makes sense, but it's also a lot better the way that they had it working at Champs. And everyone was on the same page. I appreciate you call out to Fraud's like prep of how they built this idea for the team coming forwards. In press conferences, though, Frod was giving a lot of the credit to Verno. He was saying that Verno had come up with a lot of like the identity of the team. Frod was even saying sometimes when he comes with ideas, Verno's like, "Don't worry, Chief, I've already handled it," which is, I mean, that's sick for a guy who wasn't an IGL. Apparently, he'd been talking to Bonkar way in the past in Tier 2 about like becoming that.
Yeah.
Maybe eventually. I don't know what he thought the time span was at that period of time. But it's normally something that people go into once they have been around the block for a while. And when they're like natural, charismatic leaders and communicators, which I haven't played with the guy, but from like his interview persona on camera, it doesn't seem like that stuff comes as naturally to him. But he's doing a great job within the team. He's got everyone really aligned on a vision that makes complete sense. He plays a simple game, but he executes it really well. And the players' shooting quality is extraordinarily high. And I think, he just keeps it simple and executes it perfectly.
He fragged out a lot heavier as well. Like his stage 2 was probably the worst. Again, I followed him in Tier 2 quite a lot. It's probably the worst I've ever seen him play like an actual whole tournament. So, dude, it's felt like the whole team had a similar bounce back. It's really, I mean, especially with our expectations being so low, it looked so nice. They did so well with their time.
The way that they were playing against FNATIC, where they were like contacting around the map on bind, I'm thinking, and they're just like they're not even smoking on attack very often. They're just banging players out as they peek them in backside. And the FNATIC players are like, "What the fuck just happened to me?"
That game was so funny, man. They were just walking up short and out dueling like 3 people. And every time, like you could see the FNATIC players just like, are we just missing all our shots? Like, why are we getting fucking popped here every single time? Like, they just went to duel short and just got wrecked. That was a fun game.
And that is what the game's going to be like with the new agent Veto in it. So, no utility, no way of pushing people off angles, no smokes, no damage, no nothing. We're going to have a pure game. We're going to have dark realistic graphics, dark corridors. We're going to have guns that look like guns, goddammit. What, have any of you played this character?
Yeah. I played him. Well, I say play him. I've walked around the server with him, so maybe Bren has more insight. Let's hear it, Bren.
Spamming him in ranked, as I do whenever they release a new agent. He's terrible in ranked solo queue. He's absolutely awful because he doesn't provide as much passive map control. No, seriously.
You mean as a solo sentinel?
Yeah, as a solo sentinel. Okay, he doesn't provide as much passive map control. He's just got the one trip. The throwable element of his trip is really cool though, because you can use it. For example, I was using it on like Haven. If we're going for like an A hit on attack side, I throw my trip into short to ensure that they can't peek there. It's kind of like the same concept as like a nano swarm or whatever to stop somebody peeking. But he just kind of lacks a lot on attack. Like, it's really the only thing he's got for him is that trip to set something up. And his TPs are quite janky because it takes a lot. It takes like a full 2 seconds. You place it down, you wait, got to wait for it to activate, and then you TP towards it, and then you're vulnerable the whole time while you're doing it. Can't have your gun out. It's not instant or anything. But I think it'll be really good in pro play. And I think as well, like hinting towards the 11.08 changes, like the devs have been talking about, where they're going to be kind of like nerfing rechargeable utility. I imagine when they were playtesting him, they were probably playing on that patch because he probably would have been way stronger then when there's a heavier premium placed on util and his ability to just completely remove that as like a checkmate. Because in his current state, it doesn't feel that great. I got the world first Veto ace. Didn't use any abilities.
This is what always happens, by the way. Oh, new agent ace, and it's just a guy fucking shooting 5 people.
How have you got that kill?
He was on 9 HP. This is kind of nice though. Snap to that guy.
Oh, that one's
Snap
nice.
to this guy. So listen,
you used zero util.
Use zero util, yeah.
New agent.
And
that's the whole point.
And that's another reason why he's pretty bad in ranked, is because also ranked players don't use util. They just dry swing everything, because when you're playing on ping, swinging is king. Like, you're not util to set yourself up is not ideal. So there's so many times where I'm using my ult and I'm like, okay, well, I can tank this now and take a fight. But then you just get triple face and you're like, well, I wouldn't have won that anyway, even if they flash the corner. Like, he's in a weird space where I think he's going to be really good in pro play when players get really good at him and understand the tech and how to play with him. And he's going to get even better. And then this was Timothy Larder pulling out some CS gameplay earlier.
This is
when
Veto.
I was waiting for Veto to get released.
POV, you're watching Veto.
Yeah, this is kind of nice though. Check this shit out. Like, nice crosshair placement. Playing against absolute bots. They don't have a fucking clue.
Was?
They don't have a clue.
What rank is this? Gold, 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 gold.
It might be. Could be gold. Here's another one. Timmy, he's hunting. He gets the rifle. Bombs drop down. I made a bit of noise. Quick little 4K. There you
Frying,
go.
okay.
Easy.
Dude,
Wow.
Timmy
But,
fries in
yeah.
CS as well.
Dude, Veto, I think will be great in pro play, especially
Yeah.
once the changes come through. He's going to be even better. But yeah, he definitely lacks a bit as a solo sentinel in ranked. He's not a ranked agent where he's going to take over for you.
Yeah, I think that's fair because you only have like the one trip. It's more like Cypher stuff that is going to own that. Yeah, I think pro play is strong, man. I don't know if he needs 2 TPs. I think, or at least if we're going to have 2 TPs, I want a bit of a delay on the TP. I think the TP is very, very strong, very, very strong.
You can combo them together, right? So you
you
like
can get fast
TP to
rotates.
one in the middle and then TP to the one at the end.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, you can skip 30 meters because you need to be within 15 meters of it. It has a
What
radius
does that
of 15.
mean in Valorant terms?
It has a radius of 15 meters. It's pretty important, actually, because when I was trying to do the usual stuff that you'd think, for example, on Abyss, where the Jets play on top of the box and they take a fight on the defenders peeking the orb, right? You're thinking like the Jet on top, they're holding that angle where they have like their dash pot or something. If you put your TP all the way tucked into the closest position at heaven to reposition there, it doesn't even stretch that corner. Like there's a lot of maps where you think, okay, well this TP should be really strong, but when I've been playing it, trying to make the most of it, I found that I just get the most value by putting myself up on like a box angle that's unexpected, and then just having the TPs to fast rotate. And on the attack side, don't get me started because I've been trying to use it like an Omen TP to get in there with my duelist, but it's like in solo queue ranked, it's like you're just getting baited.
You're TPing in.
Yeah, because what else am I going to do?
TPs pretty far. Like you can.
Yeah, you can throw them
place
really
them
far.
quite far. So yeah, you could do an Omen, a very slow Omen TP, like the old Omen TPs.
And let me tell you, it's slow, and also there's no X-ray indicator of where you're placing it either. So there has been countless times where I've been thrown in a smoke, we get smoked off in a choke. I'm trying to TP in behind like a box, and it will place it on top of the box or on top of Gen, and I'll just be fucking TPing out into the open. I'm like, okay, well, listen, I've committed, and I'll be fucking dead. But it's kind of tricky with that. But I'm sure when players much better than me get their hands on it and start playing it a lot, it will take over.
It's going to be good in pro play. Like when you have these info sentinels that can do stuff on attack, that's when they're strong. And that's why Killjoy and mostly Cypher has been played for so long.
Is he an info senti?
He's an info sentinel. He has one bit of util that's info, so it's like a trip behind.
Cool.
So you get the info in terms of that, but when you can do a default, so if you're thinking of these maps, and Lotus is the best example, on attack, when you can do this bit of util and make sure 100% that you can get out over towards A on your default, that's incredibly strong. Like he can just put his little orb that like pops all the util and you get out to A for free. And then 45 seconds later, you have it for an after plant or execing a site.
Explain to me how that works then. What is it called, by the way? The little
guzzler?
Interceptor.
Okay, how does Interceptor work?
You place it,
right,
and it goes down to a single bullet. I think it's got 1 health, even when it's activated. Doesn't have invulnerability or anything. But you place
Makes
it,
a noise
and
as well.
it just floats in the air. You don't stick it to a wall or anything.
It's like a Rainaleer, right?
Yeah, and then you choose when to activate it. So there's like a 2-step towards it. It's
And
not
how
fluid
long
like you
does
throw
it
it out.
last
and it's
for?
activated.
9 seconds.
Oh, that's quite a while. That's a long time, 9 seconds.
But
for
it
to be
doesn't
active.
get rid of, like, the util that it gets rid of is stuff that interacts with
a body.
Other body. Yeah, with a body.
Yes,
So, like,
with
Breach Flash,
so
I
smoke
don't think it
doesn't
doesn't do.
interact with
Omen
you?
Paranoia, it doesn't do anything.
I read that, but I don't understand it because surely it gets rid of KO Knife, doesn't it? And that doesn't interact with bodies.
Yeah, it gets rid of K knife.
Yeah, it does.
It's just.
But that doesn't interact with the body.
Well, that's
It's all over the place.
Take
I'll tell you
over
what
the right.
the
Well,
best
maybe they're
usage
gonna
I
change
found
that.
for
Maybe
it-
they're gonna have the KO Knife insta kill.
Bro, I hope. I beg.
Yeah,
that would be so
imagine.
sick.
I
My
just
main
found
problem with this
myself.
agent, I
go
don't
on.
like the design of this agent. I think it's a bad agent to introduce into the game, mainly because if you're like Gecko, I think is the obvious example because he destroys all of Gecko's utility, including his ult. And Gecko's utility, if you think about it, like it makes a little noise. Like, you know, Wingman makes a little noise. Dizzy makes a little noise before it actually.
What is
like,
the
you know,
Wingman noise?
Go. I'm not doing this on command.
what is-
You can do it,
Why? What is the Wingman noise? I can't remember it.
Bren. That was way better than what I could have done. So
Pretty good, yeah.
That was in plan.
That's really good.
But they all make a little noise. So if you think about like throwing a dizzy, you know, from like where you would normally throw them, and it's a bit deeper, so you're not out in the open. Like if you've got your interceptor tucked behind a wall of a choke point, like you get a little signal cue of like, oh, when to activate your interceptor. So if you're playing, but the thing is, like in ranked, if I'm playing Gecko and I want to play that, but the opponent's playing fucking Veto, and I just get fucked because all my utility doesn't fucking work, that's just shit. Whereas if I play Breach instead, it doesn't do anything to Breach's util. Like that just feels shit because I didn't, like, I'm getting fucking hard countered by something that I don't have any fucking control over whether the other team picks Veto or not.
So do you think this is the first agent in the game where it feels like the agent select actually matters quite a lot? Because normally you're not hard vetoing, you're not hard you're not hard countering anyone on the other side. Like as much as
this is what I mean. Like it hard counters some things way more than other things, which I just think is like feels bad.
I've had a lot of moments where I've just had my orb, saved it if I'm going up against a Gecko ult, because I'll just place it, even with the time it takes to place it, activate it. If I hear the Thrash coming towards me, it's way easier to do that than shoot it, because it just kills it in one hit. Same with a Raise Rocket. If I know that there's a Raise Rocket, I'll like, they pop the ult, I just save it for save the E, put it up in the air, like, and just activate it as they fire it. Now they could shoot it if they were smart enough, but the Raze is pulling out rockets, so they're not going to, they're not going to.
But this is interesting for pro play, because it might also, like, what maps he's good on might somewhat depend on what's already good on that map. Like if you think of a map like Bind, like Fade, Gecko, Sky, Raze, Yoru, a lot of their utility gets destroyed by his shit. Whereas if you're on other maps, maybe where you're playing against Omen, Breach kind of stuff, and it doesn't destroy nearly as much, maybe it's not as good. So that's kind of interesting from a pro play perspective, but from like a ranked perspective, when you're a Gecko main and you just get fucked.
Oh yeah,
I just
random.
think that's I just feel that's.
I mean, he's just not a ranked agent though. Like anything under Radiant, he's going to be shit.
Yeah, but
ranked,
imagine your little
I agree
Timmy Lauder 2 running into Bren, playing
Yeah.
Gecko, and you just get fucked by Bren.
I will say that there's a range limit on it too, pretty significant. So like, for example, I think Lotus is his best map that I've tested them on so far. Because on the attack side, you can TP past like the A rubble. You have like another way to get past all
Isn't
of
Lotus
that fight.
going out soon?
Yeah, and a
Oh, well, GG. But when I was trying to on defense take the C mound fight on defense, and I'd have like a TP to get out, and his TPs work best when you have a bit of cover that you can retreat to and 180 and flick to it. But if I try and put down the interceptor and activate it, it doesn't break the the haunt lineup and stuff, for example.
Right,
that
because
range
they're
of
too
it.
far away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
too far away. So it's like it's
It's. I assume you would mostly use it to stop an exit coming through, wouldn't you? You'd put it like behind the door frame so they can't break it, and then
that's why it's going to be good. That's why it's going to be good in pro play, because it's just like you can default out, take some map control, and then you're winning off the plant. It's like those VIP comps. You get this guy down, and you still have that bit of util. Like, what, they're gonna just walk through smokes? They're gonna have to.
Is it quick enough to break it? For example, here, let me explain the scenario I'm thinking of, and you can tell me whether it'd work or not. I'm diffusing a spike. I've got a smoke on the spike as well, and I put it inside the smoke somewhere. Let's say at the top of the smoke, like right up at the dome, so it's less likely to get hit by spam, for example. If there's a Brim Molly coming towards me, shock darts coming towards me, it'll stop all of those?
It's like instant,
Right. Okay, so as long as it's within LOS.
Again, certain things and not other things,
Right. It seems cringe.
Well, counterpoint. Playing post-plan lineups is very cringe, and it gives a counter towards it. Because the counter to that normally,
apparently the Riot devs think util is cringe, so...
Yeah, or I think they're
listening to the community, and the community was saying util is cringe.
Yes.
Well, yeah, basically.
Well,
everyone overreacted from Teo, and we're paying the price. But we didn't really overreact, because we only complained about Teo. But the people that complained about other people other than Teo and broadened that, you fucked us. So thank you.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the wider stuff then. So there's utility changes that are being teased, leaked, hinted about in patch 11.08 coming up as well. So Mini tweeted something. One of the devs, Penguin, responded to it, and then a bunch of other people were weighing in as well. Coleman Palm.
I'm assuming Mini posted this as well before. It was just leaked that they were like, they're removing any recharging from initiator util, which was just wrong.
Right.
The actual adjustment is increasing cooldowns even more than they already are. To make it feel like you're not just getting bombarded. But really, this is just affecting the very highest level of play. Because again, in ranked at all levels, generally, people don't use util, especially the rechargeable ones. They're not thinking about, wow, I got to use my silver dart now so I get the most out of it across the entire round. People just util is optional at that level of the play, where even in, you know, when you get up to like Ascendant Healer, people are just swinging shit. But it's
I mean, I have a video of this coming out in a bit, so I won't leak too much in terms of like my thoughts
Sorry,
of
I'm
it.
just looking at that final at Grok. Translate the entire monologue and summarize it, bro. It's like 5
tweets.
sentences.
It's like 5 sentences.
Get a grip on yourselves, people. Stop relying on the machines. What
It's
is
gonna be hard to
happening
produce the rest of
humanity?
this episode because I just broke my monitor. I just smashed it. Sorry.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think it's
Go
a
on,
weird-
sorry, I interrupted Sliggy.
That's so fun. I was gonna say that depending on how much they change this. So if you want to get really nerdy, Anders did a really nerdy tweet, but I can kind of like summarize how I view it. At the moment, you have 4 stages: map control, then retaking the map control that they have, exec, afterplan. Normally, if you have like a fade or a sova, you can have util for 3 of them if you go really slow, and I think they want to reduce it to 2 out of 4 instead of everything. So that's okay. But on top of that, everything else has to get nerfed. Because if you get rid of these bits of util, and we've seen how good Ye is with like TPs and stuff like that, and how he can tank certain bits of util, and the way that the game works in terms of just holding angles with ops judges, you have to change everything. You have to nerf the Odins, nerf the judge, nerf the op, nerf the outlaw, nerf the TPs. You then have to probably nerf some of the smokes as well, because they're going to get pretty strong. People are going to start using smokes. It's a domino effect. If they do this, it has to be a fucking huge patch where everything changes, and then they get it right. And it's going to be hard for them to get it right first time. So just good luck, I guess.
Yeah, and to follow on from that, like, if you like, to me, it's a strange. Again, this all to me comes from like when people were complaining this back at Teo, when really, and I think we were saying this, Teo is the problem. The rest of the game was fine. Teo was the issue when people were trying to expand that to like the whole game, but that wasn't the case. It was just Teo, and as soon as Teo got nerfed, you know, we lived in. Go and check the fucking, you know, meta. It's you can do whatever you want. DRX are playing one thing, you know, G2 are doing their shit, Paper X are doing their shit, like all these different teams doing that. Even NRG. NRG were playing stuff that basically, you know, not that many other people were on quite a few of the different maps, right? And so to me, and also this year, like if you think about this whole year, like you've had T1 winning Masters playing double Duelist, you've had Paper X winning a Masters playing double Duelist, and then you've got like teams like DRX and Paper X getting very far playing double Duelist. Double Duelists don't have cooldowns. So we've picked the year to, we're going to nerf all the cooldowns. This is the most double Duelist we've seen since what, 2020? 2021?
I already don't want to play initiators and ranked, and they're being nerfed even more makes me really quite worried.
But it has to be for pro play, because none of these agents other than like Sova and Fade are doing okay in ranked. So it's literally for pro play. But then they're just looking at the Teo stuff and overreacting. That's all it is. Like they did with the Breach nerf. Like the Breach stun randomly got 0.2 seconds added on.
Weird. That was always
this agent definitely was in development before Teo was a thing. For sure.
Yeah, they usually develop the agents over the course of like a year, 2 years. Most of
the agent for sure, because that's a really obvious thing to add into the game is some kind of like, you know, anti-utility thing. But combining it with this patch is,
I think,
a strange addition.
Counterpoint to them, like only looking at pro play though, is that when the game first released, players were a lot less efficient with the way that they use their util over the course of an entire round. And as time's gone on, pro play obviously is the first to get the best at it, and then that trickles down into ranked. And I just think that they might want to return the game to a state like it was before, where you just have to peel it back a little bit. But I do worry that
but again, Brent, like there's so many things to consider if you're doing this, right? Like, because
if
they let's say they nerf the smoke cooldowns as well, right? So Omen gets a higher smoke cooldown, Astra, all that. Well, what the fuck are you gonna do with Viper? Are you gonna completely rework Viper because you can just put the wall up and down the whole time? Like,
domino effect is pretty.
No, it has a crazy domino effect. It really does, and they have to think of every instance. And I hate the people, who are just like, like we just want to make it more like CS, bro. We got a sick game right here. We don't need to. The op is so strong. You move slow. Like we need to make sure there is no peeker's advantage in this game unless you're online and you have ping. Like we can't make it CS. In CSGO, you played CSGO, you had right eye peak, and CS2, you have just an advantage from swinging anyway. We need to give advantages to the attackers because the people holding the angle can pop everyone. especially with an op, especially with the tagging, especially with an Odin.
I mean, the maps are also designed for you.
And the maps are maps are fucking shit.
I've got a question that might hit to the core of some of this stuff as well, which is that would you agree the game's in the best place it's ever been in terms of the meta being open?
100%.
Right, because I think that's both. I think it's true, and I think it's the community sentiment as well that people believe it, and it's no.
The community sentiment right now, I think, is that the game's in a bit of a stale state. And as somebody who plays a lot more ranked than the average person, like a lot of us when we're watching the pro play, the game has never been better. Like in terms of that side of it, in terms of having diversity, in terms of compositions in the meta. But when you play ranked, the average experience for someone is you have a chamber, you have a Reyna, you have a Jet, you have a Clove. And then you're forced to fill in the gaps if you're not insta-locking.
Isn't that incentivizing that even more by removing, or increasing cooldowns?
I think you're incentivizing people to not play Initiator even more. Right. I think that they're dumbing down the game a little bit. But I think
But you think this
how
is coming
people
from
view the
trying to
game
make
right
the game
now
novel?
when they're playing, if you're just playing the game at that level, right, ascendant below, is that people, I think, view it as like it's stale. Like there's not much that's been changed. You don't really, the comps don't change based on the map. People aren't picking lat unless you're playing in like a stack or something. I think that's how the average person is consuming the game, which is in that environment where it's like that state. So my answer to that would be to make those agents that are inherently selfish more team play oriented. Like your Reyna, like your Clove, like your Jet in the chamber. I don't know how you would achieve that with chamber.
I was going to say,
this shit is just guns.
Instead of TPing yourself, you have to TP a teammate.
Oh, what a
so
great idea. That won't be trolled and right.
As chamber, you must allow your duelist to take an aggressive fight, and you can pull them back out of danger.
I see this patch as an answer to, one, the state of the game where pro players gotten incredibly efficient at using util and people complain about the abundance of util. Two, it's them wanting to do one big overhaul, I think, because the state of the game is perceived as stale right now for people who play the game purely, don't actually watch that much esports. And so you have to, they're in a weird spot right now where they're just trying to switch it up because of that, even though we are quite happy watching the game currently in its state. But I think those are the justifications as to why they would make a big change like this, because
put agent bans in them, Bren. If you want to
no, I fucking hate the idea of agent bans because it's like
that's not.
I don't like that because there's no inherently when they're designing agents. I know you just made the argument that Veto comes out and he counters a lot of what's being played, but that when they design agents as a philosophy, they don't design them in mind to counter a specific agent.
This might be the first that's quite
this is
heavy.
probably the first, I would say.
But I quite like that philosophy because you make it more generalized, and I think that they want the primary win condition to be gunplay, which is what they've said, right? The primary way that people
in Project
win
A.
rounds. Yeah,
abilities
shooting matters, abilities don't kill, all the rest, blah blah blah.
But we still, we still get a good amount. I just hope, and again, we only got one. The only reason they came out and just said about ability cooldown is purely because we had a leak and the leak was wrong. So there could be legit every agent getting nerfed in this patch, which they might have to do to balance it. So it could all work out. This is the only hopefully small segment we know. But
it's so funny if Veto is out for 3 days and then
Veto absolutely changed.
Nerf.
but I think I'm hoping that it's the biggest patch we've ever seen, basically.
And would you be happy with that? Because, I mean, if you're coming from my perspective where you think the game is in a wonderfully well-balanced state, I can see both sides of it, because personally I want the game to stay quite like this, because I actually enjoy playing it right now as well as watching it. But I know that they need to keep making things different and new and novel for people to keep tuning back in. The average Joe wants it to feel a bit fresh.
Ideal world, if they think about everything, I think it's good. I don't think we're in that world. I don't think we're ever in that world where they think about everything. Odin's been like this for 5 years. Judge, 5 years. Like everything. Agents. Omen's been so strong. Viper so strong. Like in an ideal world, if they got it perfect, it would be sick. It would be relatively similar to how it is now. But I mean, honestly, to be honest, now I talk about it, I just think the game's on the most perfect state we've got. I would just nerf some of the guns and Omen, Yoru TP. Maybe Vice slightly, Viper slightly.
The long range
Waylay,
TP stuff
Saturate. That's
breaks the map design even more than it already is.
I would love the maps to change though.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason as well why it feels like it's a big issue. When I'm playing Abyss, and
I teased an Abyss change.
Yeah, they did tease an Abyss change, yeah. When I'm playing Abyss and I have 2 spots to play over towards B, no fucking wonder I feel like there's too much util. I've got 2 spaces I can hide. where am I meant to hide on site? I've got 2 spots. Of course I'm getting util dumped. I have 50% options. They have 2 options of where they want to throw their util. 5 agents.
Yeah.
So...
When was the last time you played the game, Sliggy?
God knows, mate. When I lost to you, I think that was it. That was too much for me. Didn't load the game up again.
Retired on the spot.
Yeah, bro. It's the lowest point of my career.
Yeah. Yeah. After an extensive selection process, we've decided to remove Sliggy from the show. And a comprehensive and competitive application process with 10 different people invited to come in and fill Sliggy's spot. And we've decided to give it to Gentle Mates. Let's talk Gentle Mates. Coming back into EMEA. They've been... Oh, who could have seen this one coming? Gentle Mates got selected to replace Koi? Fuel to the fire of the conspiracy theories. Who's going to give me the
Korean scrim mafia have made that choice.
Yeah. Who gives me the take that panders to the Spanish fans? None of you.
It won't be me.
Do you think that Gentle Mates will be a better addition for next year than Koi?
Yeah.
As an org?
Yeah. I think so. Sure. I mean, it's purely from a business perspective. Yeah. They have more eyes on them. The Koi has kind of just been lackluster for their entire existence. I think it's, yeah. It's just it comes down to the numbers at the end of the day. It's not like they were like a world beta roster that was about to be removed because of the rule set. It's just
well, I mean, neither were Gentle Mates, to be honest. They were
no,
more
but that's what I'm
entertaining.
saying. Like Gentle Mates, but the difference is, I think the ownership group was way more engaged and way more willing to fully invest in the partnership model and what VCT was, which wasn't really the case on the Koi side. They've given their talk already about it, the whole spiel back and forth, but. I mean, I think it probably is a consideration contractually that, the big streamers that are owning some of these orgs are going to be contributing to the viewership as well. That's part of the price they're paying for their org to be in it. And if that goes amiss, if the eyes aren't there to justify your spot, then, chopping block. So.
Yeah, I think if I'm just breaking it down to roster stuff, they give me more faith with their rosters. Like they went for it this year. And like even for stage 2, when they realized they had to change something up, they went for it as well. So... I'm happy that they're gonna take risks and spend money, which I think is a good way to go, to give people chances, especially when people have high buyouts in tier 2. I want those people to get chances.
I also really hope in their first game they throw a massive lead just to keep me like, oh yeah, this is why they need to be here, because I'm gonna be more invested. Will they throw when they get to 12 again?
Yeah. It was incredible the level of consistency with which they managed to do that this year. Like, every game they got to 12, you knew they were losing. It was spectacular to watch. And they did lose a lot. But I think I agree with you too, that they're going to be better for the league overall. Maybe, I mean, it definitely feels bad if you were a Koi fan. But also, I'm finding it hard to care about a lot of this stuff and like format decisions and stuff, considering how much the format generally is changing.
2027.
Yeah, I was going to say,
anyway, it's like
it would happen next year anyway, right?
Yeah.
Unless something crazy happened this year. And then even then, it might be too late. They might be like, guys, we know you're just doing this because it's your last year. So
it'd be funny. So Gentle Mates would have signed a team partnership agreement in 2025. And now, because they didn't continue it into 2026, presumably this is like a different TPA. It'd be funny if they just got rinsed on the terms. I don't know any of the behind the scenes stuff, but I believe the reporting for the Koi one, I think Sheep Esports said that they were the only org that had co-streaming requirements built into the TPA. It'd be funny if Riot just added them in the Gentle Mates just as like, by the way, guys.
They might though. That Squeezy guy's pretty popular, right? Is it Squeezy?
They've got 3 big content creators as the org owners. Yeah. So yeah, I think it'll be good overall. Do you believe the conspiracy theories? Did they do this just to get Gentle Mates back?
Did they do it
I
just
think
to
it
get
might
them
have been.
back? I think is a
Yeah, not
little
just.
far, but
I think
Not
it might
just,
have
was
been
there a
happy.
convenient option there that was readily available, perhaps?
If
Yeah.
if Gentlemates had earned their spot back via making champs or via winning Ascension or something, would they have kicked Koi?
Well, it would have been interesting if they played in Ascension, right? Because then would they have had the time to like, sort it all out? Because obviously Ascension hasn't even happened yet. They would have been in this kind of flux of like, do we actually give the spot to Gentlemates when they're in Ascension, when they might win the spot anyway? Do we wait for them to lose in Ascension, or do we just give them the spot and change all how Ascension works? That would have been quite interesting to see how that played out, but who gives a fuck?
What the fuck?
Well, Koi do. Sorry.
I mean,
the
yeah,
Koi
they
fans
do.
definitely do.
Koi, sorry. Koi.
I think if Koi had stayed, sorry, if Gentlemates had stayed in, I think Koi would still be in. That's how I view it.
Yeah, I think it was a convenient. You have backup
There's an
options.
opportunity, yeah.
Yeah. Also, though, I saw the most engagement out of fucking Koi fans when they all got kicked. Didn't see a lick of it prior.
Yeah, but
I
mate,
mean,
they can't be. I see. I kind of. This is the only time I'm actually on board with the Koi guys. Mate, I can't. I'm not gonna be tweeting. I don't tweet anyway, but I'm not gonna be tweeting if my teams lose in 0-12 every season. Like we can't expect them to all be like, "Go on, mate. Next year we got them." Like they're 0-24 or something.
That's
man.
true.
They've been
Yeah.
beaten down for 2 years. We can't expect the
I mean, the
support of Koi.
The Brazilian
like,
fans are still out there to some degree after being beaten down into the dust. They just wait for anything to happen.
Yeah, but they've had good things happen.
Yeah. Koi fans have never.
Yeah, but also,
in
correct me if I'm
Valorant?
wrong.
What about Japanese fans? I mean, Japanese fans are out there, rain or shine.
Well, yeah.
And it's mostly
That's
raining.
just a different.
Yeah, I
that's
don't think the
different culture,
viewership reflected in the Koi fan base, even when they were losing.
That, yeah, but I mean, if
You
they
wouldn't see it even if they
started
were.
winning.
You wouldn't
Do you
see it. No, I mean, we literally wouldn't see it because we don't speak Spanish.
Right.
Yeah, I guess it's like the Mixwell co-stream.
Yeah, it's like what? Yeah, Mixwell,
Yeah.
Ibai, Sergio
Yeah.
Ferrer. Is he called the guy who took over from Ibai? Or like just other Spanish areas of the internet that are closed off to us.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was a good conversation that nobody really cared about, I suppose. Genuinely.
Yeah.
And that about wraps it up for us then. Next week, we're going to do a roster mania catch-up kind of thing where we can talk about a bunch of the teams that are maybe making some roster changes, that kind of stuff. Just bears reminding that we have our final, most important segment to run. Wyatt's Weekly Award.
He broke his monitor, remember?
We are gathered here today because Wyatt cannot be with us. And as his ashes are spread before us, we will still carry out the appointment of the weekly award. Here it is.
It's so sad.
Like a fucking ghost.
Oh,
It's so sad that Wyatt died. It's so sad.
Jesus.
I got a couple of options here, right? So I feel like it makes a lot of sense to give it to Ethan or Bonkar for their job recovering NRG from where it was, the leadership of the team, the direction, the calling, the improvements that they made, the protocols, the map 5 pop-off, the Yahoo! All of it. Like, it was just all sublime. However, I'm willing to accept other nominations if we have people in mind.
My
Right.
brain's empty, man.
I
don't know.
I'm
Good.
thinking Ethan just won double champs, bro.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need the weekly award? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, Bonkar did do a good tweet about the chicken nuggets. If anyone saw that,
Yo, that was a good tweet.
No, it
That was a good tweet.
He might have stolen it.
For that alone, he may have clutched it. Very well then. The winner of Wyatt's Weekly Award for this week, it's Bonkar. He's eaten good tonight with the at, like as if you needed to at Chet here. Like everyone knows who you are subtweeting, and he's just gone and atted him completely. It's nuts. Incredible turnaround for this guy though.
What a beast, man.
Incredible stuff. Nah, he's done a great job.
He has done a great job.
fantastic
And I like, man, it's so nice when we get the insights of like the talks and the coach timeouts and stuff like that. It was a banger. It's a banger motivator.
That was an all time.
It is it really is.
Yeah.
And he
incredible.
also lived up to the hype. Yeah,
He did, yeah.
He had big hype.
Mm.
He had big hype, and
Yeah,
it's rare that we actually get to see people live up to that.
Yeah. He said in one of the interviews, he said something about like I didn't quite hear it, so I might have like been misunderstanding or something, but he said something like, "Oh, I couldn't get a job in EMEA, so I had to come back here and beat them all in Americas," or something like that. But surely it was like super highly sought after, wasn't he? So I must have misunderstood exactly what he
He had a few. He had a few EMEA. He's joking about.
Yeah, he's just
he had a few in at least interests that I know of.
Sure.
But
I know he's
NRG's
very
got
sought
that.
after.
They got that chicken nugget salary, man. So it's nothing. That sometimes that gets you.
If he's on a chicken nugget salary, I can't imagine what Chet was on, honestly.
Holy, bro. I've heard some of the numbers, man. We should never go into it. It's criminal behavior. Even Ardis, man, when he told me, my goodness.
Well, with that...
And for those who don't know, NRG is the highest paying team in Americas. At least
probably.
that's
I would
the
assume
rumor.
so.
Up there with G2.
Oh, G2, actually. Yeah, G2
But they had a unique position where they had to buy their
G2 are in
slot.
a strange spot.
Yeah, bought them.
G2's like leverage might end up going down quite a bit with the announcements that happened recently, right? Of like the scene being more open and like the orgs being able to like reapply and shit. Dude, if I'm Valen, I'm looking like I'm gonna squeeze the last year out of this one. All right, that does it for our episode 236. What is this?
It's just
He was
a
getting a
screenshot.
history. He was getting a history recap, I think, right?
This looks like AI. This is like,
How does this look like AI?
it just doesn't look real. It looks like a doctored image of like ohnePixel reacting to Team Heretics Calming Corp 2023. Like, why is he going back and watching that?
He's interested.
Okay.
It's history, man.
It is interesting. Yeah, it is history. A reminder again to go back and watch last week's episode because it's about to get taken off the air forever for showing the Eiffel Tower at nighttime.
Yeah. Become a member so when we get sued by the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah. If enough people become members just for that episode, we'll personally edit a black box over the Eiffel Tower for the whole episode and re-upload it. And also, if you wanted to catch our merch, unlucky, too late. It was a limited run and it's gone. We did say a couple of times that we were only going to be running it over the course of Champions, but we'll have new merch coming out sometime in the future. So keep your eyes posted for that kind of stuff. But it'll be probably next year and tied into some event, but don't know. We haven't decided, so not going to give you any details. Unlucky. Tune in though next week and we'll be discussing all of the roster mania in episode 237. Thank you, TMV, Sliggy, and Brent for joining me. Appreciate your time.
No problem.
And subscribe because we're really close to hitting 100k, and when we do, TMV said he'll oil up.
That's not true. That's not true.
He did.
Cut.